2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. You could turn $10 into $250. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/fan and use code FAN. That's code FAN at prizepicks.com/fan.
Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
A world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions. Only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Yo, what's the deal, Panther fans? It's your boy, the Professor, a.k.a. Tony Dunn. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast. Tonight's episode, Cultural Clash. Does winning clash with the culture? Does culture clash with winning? I don't even know. But I'm telling you, Matt Rule knows. And Teddy Bridgewater doesn't know. They put together a full game when it doesn't matter. But the Carolina Panthers have beaten the Washington football team, have risen to 5-10 on the season, now have fallen to 9th in the draft order, possibly 13 if things go bad this week. We've got a lot to talk about when it comes to the Carolina Panthers' future, the story that is this season, the culture that is building, and we're doing it with the greatest fans ever. The number's 252-228-5098, and I tell you, I love every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. live when I hang out with my homeboys. Cody Lashney is my main man. Cody, welcome back to the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Tony Dunn, what's up, man? We're drawing to the end of another season. My YouTube is messed up. I don't know if everyone else's is messed up. So give us some thumbs up in the chat if our video is good, if the audio is good, if you can hear us and we're coming in clear to you. But Tony Dunn, yeah, man, we're wrapping up the end of another season, and I wish we were playing for something. I wish we were playing for something so bad.
Pride, homie. Pride.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of that. But listen, man, no matter what, there's nowhere I'd rather be on a Tuesday night. We've still got the best Panther fans and all of YouTube, and they're rolling into the chat right now. Joey the Blind Panther, Esquivel, Brad Dugan, Chase Weeby, D-Tight 79, ATX 19, Trill 1, Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
I certainly hope the YouTube is working. It says YouTube not receiving enough video to stream smoothly. But, bro, I'm giving the video. I'm giving it to him. I'm sending it to him. I'm sending it to y'all. And so smash the thumbs up button, please, as it catches up. We got CK in the house. How you doing, my man?
Man, just going 1 week at a time at this point, man. Just waiting for life to just kick back off. And, going into this week, just trying to figure out if Sean Payton's really just going to be a dick and let us win or not.
Do you think he will? Do they need to win?
If they have a shot at a bye week, they are absolutely going to try to whoop our ass, right? if they do not have a shot by 4:30, and I don't know if it's possible or if the games have been scheduled in a way to make sure that the 4 o'clock games they have to try, which happens a lot, then I would say then at that moment in time, yeah, there's a good chance that they just let it go, let us win, and then not only from the perspective of there's nothing for them to have their starters out on the field for if they've got if they don't have a first round bye. Or first, if they don't have the bye week, but they also would screw us heavily on a draft pick because we would drop significantly in comparison to where we're at now.
There's something they would do. It's something the Patriots would do to a friend in their division. So why should we expect anything less from Sean Payton, the man of many punches in the face? We got Greg, the man of many podcasts. How you doing? The Bat Daddy 52 on Twitter.
I'm doing okay, man. I'm just confused about where I'm at right now, where to think about the Panthers. And, it's just every time I feel something about them, I get pulled in a different direction or something else goes wrong or they do something franchise-wise that I didn't see coming. And it's craziness going on right now. I can't bottle everything up and try to figure everything out, lay it on a piece of paper, try to figure everything out. It's just like an explosion of craziness. But as far as the Saints go, hell yeah, they'll do that. They did it 2 years ago to us. They had the number 1 seed or number 2 seed locked up. They couldn't go anywhere. We won that game. We dropped like 7 positions in the draft by winning that game. So they'll definitely do it to us.
Wonder Woman 1984 came out this weekend.
Oh,
you didn't like it. You thought it was terrible.
I wasn't a huge fan of it. It wasn't a bad movie. It was an okay movie.
I made it 30 minutes into the movie, and I said, "Fuck this shit! I can't even do it anymore. It's cornier than cow shit."
Well, we did a 3-hour review on my network Sunday night. Go check it out.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
It has its flaws for sure.
All right. All right. Just like the Carolina Panthers and NFL, there are flaws. But you know what? When it comes to the C3 Panthers podcast, there are no flaws, even if there is buffering. All you got to do is smash the thumbs up button. I bet you this. If you smash the thumbs up button, the stream will get better. Boom. Smash it. Smash it again. Smash it again. Smash it like this big-ass thumb I got that I got to get surgically repaired on Thursday. Yuck. I got a lot to say tonight in my ice-up pick about doctors and smart people. And but I love hanging out with you guys. And y'all are smart people. And the Carolina Panthers smartly won a game this past weekend. I got to tell you this. I came on the post game, guys. I was obliterated. The 3 shots of tequila that I took as they scored those touchdowns killed me. And I was feeling funky. Try to clear my memory. Bring me through the fog and the haze, Cody. What the hell happened on Sunday?
Nothing good. That's for damn sure. Listen, man, we took ourselves out of a top 5 pick. We would have been picking number 3. Right now, we're picking number 9. I don't know this, so don't quote me, but I believe the best we could do is like 5 or 6, maybe. I think, even if we lost, but I don't know. I did hear that it's not official, it's not cemented that the Packers have the 1 seed. So the Saints, they could very easily be playing to try and win something when they play us. I don't know why we were flexed into prime time at 4. That's really confusing. But my thing is this, dude, does the 1 seed even matter in COVID times? Like with all of there's no home presence, is there?
I think it does when you're in a place like Lambeau in the middle of the winter.
Yeah, true.
But some places it doesn't. But.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. So then, look, the Saints have something to play for, and if that's true, we're not gonna win. It's that's what I was saying earlier to start the show, man. We really miss those times when we're talking about the prospects of what we're gonna do in the playoffs, man. But here we are, another season in a row, coming up on what feels like the 2nd or 3rd year in a row. that we played the Saints the last game of the season. I know we did last year because
I feel like we always play the Saints or the Falcons in the last game of the year.
I went to the game with my brother last year, Saints and the Panthers. Terrible rain, nasty outside. Saints just stomped us. Yeah, man, I hate not playing for nothing. It sucks, man. That's why we're so upset about not being able to have the best pick at a quarterback. You know, we feel like so many of our problems are quarterback related that that's the difference for us. But how about this? The Panthers are such a bad team that if you manage to fuck around and lose to the Panthers, someone's getting fired, bro. Someone's getting fired. The Lions fired Matt Patricia. The Falcons fired Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff. And now Dwayne Haskins is no longer.
Hey, looks like I heard this earlier today on the radio, and I wasn't sure. Somebody was saying that they're changing the schedules in the NFL so that way every team plays a conference game the last game of the season, so it matters more. And I'm looking at the schedule: Atlanta, Tampa Bay, Dallas, Giants, Jets, New England, Minnesota, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Baltimore, Cincinnati. It's all conference matchups.
It's not. So that's good because then it makes it usually matter.
Yeah,
a little bit. Shout out to Nick Montiero. Happy for the W, but Teddy doesn't deserve that W. Most Panthers thing ever. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Sorry, guys, for the buffering that is happening, but it's like either we start the whole damn thing over again, which we could, or we can try to hope that the connection catches up. I don't know. Bringing these cats back in the podcast. The connection now says excelente. Thank you, Nick Montiero, for the super chat in the last broadcast, $4.99. The love bomb saying this: Teddy Bridgewater doesn't deserve the win. You know, he said after the game it was the first complete win or complete game of the season. And I wouldn't even say that's the case. It was the same game as always. That's what I'm telling you. You watched the same team all season long with a defense that got better. And I would say that's a good thing. It's like, it is what it is. And we knew it was. We've been trying to tell you. C3 Panthers Podcast. The number's 252-228-5098. Cody Lashney in the house. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. And hey, we even have some more people that we didn't have in the chat room the first time around. Bubba Pacha, 704 Bound Charlotte, Moneybags Lawson, Shane Welch, 10 Tizzy. What's up, man? We got people chilling here, ready to talk some Panthers football, man. That's one thing about us Panther fans, man. Good or bad, we're ready to talk some Panthers football.
CK, what is going on in this streamland? In your streamland, you streaming all the time, huh, man? You stream. Yeah, how do you have a wife still?
Well, I stream after she goes to bed.
So. Does she go to bed? Like, I feel like she's sleeping beauty.
Yeah, she goes to bed like. She came, to put it into perspective, she came in here at 8 to tell me good night. So now she sits there and TV for a bit and whatnot. But she's typically asleep. I mean, even if it's not quite at 10, 10:30 or whatnot. And when she's sleeping, she doesn't care.
She's like, hey, he's not watching porn. He's playing video games like a crazy motherfucker. I tell you this. You know what's hard? Playing video games with no thumb.
Have you tried?
I've been playing on my daughter's computer that I got her for Christmas. And right now I'm on that Paladins joint, which is the Overwatch knockoff of knockoffs.
Is it fun?
I don't like them. I can't do those champion type games, honestly.
Why?
It's just boring to me.
Yeah,
it depends on it depends on which one. League of Legends was fun for a while, but then it just depends. Is it a shooter like Overwatch?
Yeah, it is Overwatch exactly. Like if you could just it's the same exact fucking game. Same game, but it's free and it's all right for a little while. But you also play Call of Duty till your eyes bleed. You play Warzone till your eyes bleed, homie.
Yeah,
Like, come
and
on, you can't be like, I get bored. Like that, man, at some point, that is boring too.
I have 130 wins in Warzone now.
Nice.
That's
You
for
have like
sure.
3.
All right, we got Greg, the Man of Many podcast, the guy who does not like the new Wonder Woman. I watched it with my little girls. Cody said this earlier that he gave it, I don't believe you gave it 30 minutes, Cody. I believe you only gave it 15. The first 15, cheese as fuck. But they were meant to be cheesy. I think I have decided that it was meant to be cheesy on purpose.
Yeah, but in a day and age, look, this isn't a movie show, but I'll just say this: in a day and age where superhero movies are being made at their best and they have never been
they're
better,
worn out and
that
played.
kind of bullshit is just not acceptable anymore.
Here's
Like, I don't understand how a group of executives are so tone deaf and blind to how fucking corny and terrible something is. Like, I don't get it.
I didn't dislike the movie. I just wasn't really impressed with it. There were a lot of plot problems, a lot of things that looked really bad to me. Cody, you said the best quote the other day. I can't remember what the exact quote about how she was the empowerment of women for generations or for years. Yeah,
the embodiment of female empowerment, and her sole character motivation is, oh, I miss my boyfriend. I wish he was like, come on, man. Like, it's so dumb. Like, there's no character development. It's just, it sucks, man.
Can we talk one thing before we move on?
Sure.
Armor was the stupidest thing. Like, it literally was a glorified shield that was literally lasted 5 minutes.
I couldn't even tell you I didn't make it that far.
Against the
That's what bothered you? That's what bothered you? The armor?
This built up thing, like the armor, it was supposed to be this incredible.
I disagree. I thought the golden armor was badass.
Hey, it would have been badass if it didn't literally stay like she lost the armor within 5 minutes of having it on, and it did nothing but provide her a wall to stand still and get beat.
No, she was wearing Cheetah down. She was tiring her out. It was like a boxing match.
But you realize that was supposed to be the armor, that was supposed to be this incredible, all this effort was put in.
Cheetah is Wonder Woman, though. She was.
Listen. I have to say this.
So fun to listen to.
We're taking away time when we should be talking about Soul. If we're going to be talking about another movie, I promise you, for you and your whole family, your children, it is one of Pixar's best movies ever. Okay. It is perfect for adults and for kids. It is a beautifully made movie. Jamie Foxx is wonderful. Watch Soul with your family and don't even give Wonder Woman another thought of your life. I promise you'll thank me later.
I agree with what Greg said. Is the swooping down in the beginning on the was like kind of with the
terrible.
It just. But I like the making fun of the 80s. Like that's I understand that, but you know what I don't like is you're talking about female empowerment and this and that, this is the opposite of female empowerment. Like Wonder Woman, whoever that Israeli what's her name?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, she is like a.
She has. All right, but hold on. Don't be a hypocrite.
But why? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to be a hypocrite here. It's like I'm all about female empowerment, but they made her like a snooze fest bore, and I wanted to mess with the blonde.
You always make fun of me for having a crush on Caroline Can, and Caroline Can has no ass and no anything else. Gal Gadot is the same way. She has a beautiful face, but she has no value to her.
I don't believe that. Have you?
No, that's another problem I have with Wonder Woman. Why can't we have a big buff-ass female Wonder Woman? Like, why does she have to be a toothpick? Like, why can't it just be a big burly bitch?
I know.
Like, that's what I want.
Bring me the butt. Anyway, we're here to talk about the Carolina Panthers, not Wonder Woman. The number's 252-228-5098. The Carolina Panthers defeated the Washington football team, and in what has become a discussion now led by the team trying to shame fans. I feel like Darren Gant and Bill Voth have been on the internet trying to shame us for not being happy that we won. And I've seen like all of these tweets and this and that from them, and it's like we're building a culture. And all I could say is this, Cody, is that if building a culture requires beating a shitty-ass Washington football team with the worst quarterback in the history of football, and a team that is now got the head coach that was your head coach, who was brought into Washington to give them football culture, I don't even understand what that statement means. Is 70% of the players on this team are not going to be here next year. Look, I want our players to go out and play hard. I understand Zylstra jumping on the fucking football and getting a touchdown like he's supposed to do that. He ain't going to be on the Carolina Panthers next year, right? He got to try to say, I'm going to play special teams for San Diego or not San Diego, Las Vegas, something. You know what I'm saying? He's putting together his team. You've got Phil Snow who's trying to build his unit and try to show us that the 3-3-5 ain't no joke. I understand that. I'm not trying to get the team to actually win. But, man, Dwayne Haskins was so bad, bro. How can you not win? How can you not win? And how did Ron Rivera start Haskins? Like, they waived him after the game. They should have waived. How is he so bad?
Why not do it after the strip club, especially when the NFL is cracking down on everybody for violating COVID protocols and shit. Like if he went back there and gave the whole team COVID when you're trying to win the NFC East, like I was actually I was actually listening to Peter King talk about it, and kudos to him. He came down on Ron Rivera. He's like, everyone's, commending him. He should have done this sooner. And I do agree. And it's another trend of Ron Rivera kind of waiting too long to do what needs to be done. I mean, we only fired Mike Shula after the entire fan base wanted his head on a spike. So, it's typical Ron Rivera. Listen, we all know this. If Taylor Heineke had come in for even 3 or 4 minutes of time than he had, we would have lost. Hands down, we would have lost. He was throwing deep balls. If it wasn't for his idiot receivers dropping footballs right by the end zone, I mean, they were going to tie the game with enough time left. So, I mean, it's embarrassing because it says our offense is as bad as we think it is, even though the stats don't say that. We have 3 1,000-yard offensive players on our team, potentially 4 after this coming Sunday. So
who's the fourth?
If Curtis Samuel gets 70 yards this Sunday, then he will have 1,000 yards on the season. That'll be him. DJ Moore.
No, he got 700. Oh, you mean receiving yards? Excuse me. Okay.
Yeah, receiving yards. Yeah.
But it'll be him, DJ Moore,
and Robbie.
Him, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, and we have 1,000-yard rusher in Mike Davis.
Did Mike Davis hit 1,000-yard rusher?
Yeah.
Okay.
How about that? Undrafted or whatever the hell, 4th round or whatever, comes in after we pay Christian all that money and rushes for 1,000 yards in his first season.
But it definitely wasn't 2,500 yards in total scrimmage yards.
Yeah,
but we did make up for it in other means. We have 3 other 1,000-yard players. So,
yeah. But I mean, again, we can. I'll say this just because I think it's.
We shouldn't be sad for having great players. That's what I think CK is really getting at. Is like, why should we be sad about having Chris McCaffrey, who would have made us better? The question is that you just can't say that we just didn't have Christian McCaffrey and we would have been so much better. Is that having Christian McCaffrey would have been 2 more wins. That's really what it would have been. It would have been 2 more wins, and that's good. We would have loved those 2 wins, right?
And that's why we shouldn't have paid him.
All right, I know you guys in your analytic GM minds, but there is an argument for special players. Right? I mean, is Tyreek Hill just a wide receiver, or is he an exceptional wide receiver? It was was Barry Sanders just a running back, or was he the most exceptional one? I think Christian McCaffrey is an exceptional player. I think he falls in the tier, Cody, that is not like, it's just not quantifiable in the same way. It's like different. Like, couldn't you? It's kind of like fantasy football. All right, which I won my kudos to you, Greg, winning your fantasy. I won mine. I'm in this dynasty fantasy football league, guys, where we have a salary cap each year of $20 million, and a first-round pick is worth $20 million, so you could keep a first-round pick, and then like a 10th-round pick is worth like $3 million. And the goal, what you're trying to do, is grab some guys in this dynasty league, and you can only keep a player for 4 years. That's the rule, right? I picked Alvin Kamara in the 12th or the 14th, like the 12th round, his rookie year.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I've kept him every year, and he's been great, man. I'm telling you, he's been great the whole time. Last year he was hurt. This year, he was a fucking monster. It's the last year. It's the last year I can have him. He had 6 touchdowns in the championship game. I walked out a Thursday night or whatever up 56-0 on this dude. Like, it was over. I had Jared Goff, man, as my starting quarterback. My starting quarterback had like 8 points, and I still smoked this homie. My point being is that some ways he's just a running back, just a player. But sometimes there's an exceptional level of players, right? There's a difference between Patrick Mahomes and a Jared Goff. Yeah.
But
and in fantasy, they say it's only, that's only 12 points. Well, no, I think the exceptional, sensational is hard to quantify.
Yeah, I agree. But my concern, I know where Cody's coming from, right? Because there's so much money to be, you have to pay cornerbacks and offensive lines, right? But, and because, Cody, I know you believe that these positions are so easily replaced. The problem is, when you look at other teams that don't have these weapons and they paid all those other pieces and still aren't doing what you're talking about, you've got to put weapons behind them. Otherwise, we're doing exactly what we've been doing to Cam his entire career, not providing him a decent weapons to be able to get the ball to until the end of it. And then, obviously the offensive line is something that's going to be hit or miss from year to year sometimes.
But no, we're talking about two different things. Yeah, maybe a 1,000-yard rusher and receiver isn't something that you're going to be able to replace, but we have 3 other receivers with 1,000 yards, and Mike Davis has 1,000. Yeah. And last year we had the same identical record with Christian McCaffrey. So again, this move was because we had to put
Kyle Allen and Ron Rivera. I mean, again, we're talking about moving the goalposts as you talk about. You had a completely just crappy team last year. It wasn't even close to being as good as it is this year, right? Not even close. And Christian McCaffrey was still able to help elevate this team to a position where they were winning.
But we've lost every single game that Christian McCaffrey has played in this year.
Yeah, but guess what?
Literally every single game.
Have you gone to look at those games and see how much of an impact he had? Like, you watched that Kansas City game, you think that would have been anywhere close?
It didn't equal a W. It wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough, but
Tyreek, for example, even someone like Tyreek Hill is more important to the Kansas City Chiefs. Even with all those weapons they have, Tyreek Hill is more important to Kansas City than Christian McCaffrey is to us. Because that's their.
I disagree.
Let me tell you why. Tyreek Hill represents their ability to completely flip the football field from anywhere on the field. They could be at their 10-yard line and throw a touchdown. Okay, that Christian McCaffrey doesn't equal that level of danger. And
I disagree wholeheartedly.
Hold on.
Yeah, I disagree
one of the
too.
Biggest facets of the Kansas City Chiefs offense.
But let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs.
Downfield.
I'm going to pull some stats out on you. Hold on.
The GM that you like from the Chiefs has signed Sammy Watkins to a pretty good deal. Tyreek Hill's making ridiculous money. their running back situation is just beneficial because they got a rookie running back there, and Le'Veon Bell on a really cheap contract. They're going to end up having to pay one of the, Edward Flair. They're paying the weapons. They're paying them, and they're paying their quarterback, and they're finding a way to make it happen. If you're saying that position is replaceable, why didn't they replace them? If they're the standard, they kept the people that have gotten to that point. We're talking about letting go of Christian McCaffrey. We're talking about letting go of Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, because we don't value their positions.
Out of all those positions that you just mentioned, how many of them is a running back?
What do you mean?
Out of all those positions that they paid in Kansas City, which one of those players is a running back?
They haven't had to go to that point yet. They haven't gotten to that point.
My point is still the same. They're not paying a running back that much money.
They did. They paid. Who was it before Kareem Hunt? They had that Jamal Charles. They paid him at that point in time.
That's a brand new GM, brand new everything.
But what I'm talking about is you had Kareem Hunt, and guess what? They would have paid Kareem Hunt if he was still there. If he hadn't had that issue that he had, he would have gotten paid at Kansas City. And you know it. They weren't going to let that guy.
Dude, should have, could have, would have. Then Kansas City.
I just feel like it's hard to. It reminds me of fantasy. It reminds me of fantasy football, and when the idea is about the drop off and this and that, is that I don't draft a quarterback in the first round in fantasy football. I wait because you know what, Matt Stafford statistically isn't that as far off from Matt Ryan or Tom Brady in a way. Is that you need to make your money in places where the drop off is statistically larger. And I think that that's what the argument that you're making, Cody, relies on. But I just feel like there's a star factor, an it factor sometimes, to where it outshines that model, right? Yeah, ultimately you could say this is that like the difference between Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson is negligible in a way. We need to pay these other, you could find a mathematical equation that supported that. But then at some point you just say like, Patrick Mahomes right now is like unstoppable. He's like a magic man. Maybe it's not Tyreek Hill. Maybe it's everything else. And I feel like Christian McCaffrey kind of enters that conversation of a different level of player and where he transcends his position.
Well, listen to this, Cody. I'm going to take, because Tyreek Hill was injured last year, so I'm not going to use his stats. So I'm going to use his stats from his best season. He had 1,479 yards, 12 touchdowns.
That's a lot.
Last year, Christian McCaffrey had 1,387 rushing and 15 touchdowns. So can we say that's a wash right there? That's pretty even?
Yes.
No. Why can't we say that?
No.
The difference of 100 yards.
Okay, no. Here's the difference. Christian McCaffrey, as Trill One says in our chat, the whole league thinks that CMC is a whole offense. He's a whole.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about stats.
And he still did that. He still did that.
Tyreek Hill on a roster that has all these other players still had almost
not at that point.
Not at that point, he didn't. Not in 2018, he didn't.
So what stats? What year are you reading?
I'm going from his best year. I pulled his best year.
What year was that?
His best year.
2018.
1,479 yards, 12 touchdowns. His best year. He has more touchdowns this year, but less yards. So which would you rather go with? Because either way, he doesn't have more touchdowns than Christian McCaffrey had his best year. But what I'm saying is, you can take what his receiving yards in his best year, Christian McCaffrey's rushing yards in his best year. That's a wash. Now let's add Christian McCaffrey's receiving yards, because Christian McCaffrey had 1,005 receiving yards and 4 touchdowns. And let's look at Tyreek Hill's rushing yards. He had 30 rushing yards and 0 touchdowns.
The whole part of that Kansas City Chiefs offense is their ability to open it up over the top. It's literally the most important part. It's what won them the Super Bowl. It is quite literally what
I thought jumping up and down, turning around in a circle was their most important part.
No, let me say something real quick. We had Christian McCaffrey last year, and we're no better off at record wise than we were last year. And all the yards that he provided us have been replaced by other players on the football team. That's what,
not the touchdowns. How about the touchdowns? Have you replaced the touchdowns? No, you haven't.
If Tyreek Hill was out, would he be replaced by all the other players on his team? I'm pretty sure he would be. His numbers. I'm almost positive the rest of the team could carry.
Yeah.
It's like if Tyreek Hill's out, I'm pretty sure the rest of the team
Mike Davis ran for almost as many yards.
Yeah, but how many touchdowns they have? How many touchdowns they have?
Yeah.
Listen, no matter how you listen, Christian McCaffrey is an incredible football
This
player.
argument, here is where this argument fails. And I'm sorry, Cody, you're wrong on this. You're wrong on this. And the argument fails here is that ultimately this is that positions are more important than players. That's what your argument is positions are more important than players. The position they play. Now listen to me. So the idea is this, is that, we can have a top 5 left tackle. We're going to pay him $72 million. He could be beat like a fucking drum. Oh, no, we're going to pay him $70 million, but it's a bad idea to pay Christian McCaffrey, who's going to beat those bitches like a drum. That's where you are saying that positions are more important than players. And ultimately is that because Christian McCaffrey plays a position that is not as valuable in your mindset, he's less important than the player.
He's very talented. He is not worth the dollar amount that we paid him. He does not.
All right, let's change that to this. It
doesn't equal victories. Listen, you can say all you want, but there is no data.
How about this? Is that if we would have paid what number? All right, no. What number? If we would have paid him, would it have been acceptable in your mind?
What are we paying him now?
Pick the number. You pick the number. Is it 61? Is it 57? Ultimately is you're upset that we paid him $64 million or whatever it was.
I know.
No, but what is the number? What if we would have paid him $61 million? What is the actual number where the player exceeds the position?
I mean, dude, all right, let's see. His average salary is $16 million a year. So 10.
So you spread the other $6 million out. You spread the other $6 million out. So you're saying spreading the other $6 million out to nobodies, or to a center, or to this. No, how about this? Is we give 3 of that to Teddy. Let's give 2 of it to Teddy. Let's give 2 of it to James Bradbury, and then all of a sudden that makes you feel better.
No,
we're not over. First of all, is that he's not getting paid $16 million a year. There's no way.
Taylor Moton is far more important to the future success of this football team than Christian McCaffrey.
Lies. You are. That's lies. That's straight lies.
You have not seen him play in weeks.
No
way. I'm gonna go pull.
If you fucking say Curtis Samuel is more important than Christian McCaffrey, hit him with the buzzer. CK, hit him with yes.
That McCaffrey's doing, dude.
Do not ever fucking say that again.
The day we signed him, and I want to see the reaction. I want to see it.
Is more elusive, a lot cheaper. Yeah.
No way, bro. If you watched Christian McCaffrey on the field, let's go back. Look, I want you to compare highlight to highlight. I love Curtis Samuel, but if you
fuck Curtis Samuel, yo. Fuck Curtis Samuel. I will say that right now. Cody, if you're going to keep talking shit about Christian McCaffrey,
100% out of the time, you're going to lose that argument.
Look, the difference between me and y'all is y'all are in your emotions.
No, that's some bullshit. That's the biggest bullshit I ever heard in my life.
We're in our emotions.
You love Cody.
Let's talk some Trevor Lawrence.
His adorable blue eyes. His rip.
No, because here you're it's a straw man argument. It's a straw man argument. If Christian McCaffrey just played Curtis Samuel's position, you'd be sucking his dick right now.
Hold on. Listen. This is coming from the guy who says all these positions are replaceable, but I'm okay with trading away every draft pick for the next 2 years to get another guy.
And let me ask you something.
Important position.
But you're talking about removing the ability to replace those positions.
Let me ask you something. Reverse position.
As a college player,
No, let's stick with C-Mac and Curtis Samuel.
C-Mac Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, how much are you going to pay Curtis Samuel? Tell me, how much is he worth? Is he worth 13, 14?
Have Curtis Samuel be running back and see what he does, and have Christian McCaffrey
We've
be
already tried that. Running back Curtis Samuel.
No.
And he got 70 fucking yards.
The full-time running back, see if he can do what Christian McCaffrey can do. Because I guarantee you, Christian McCaffrey can do what Curtis Samuel can do, receiving the ball. So, I mean, come on, dude. Christian McCaffrey is a better receiver than Curtis Samuel and a better running back than Curtis Samuel.
It's so dumb. It's so fucking dumb. The fact that you even put Curtis Samuel's name in the same sentence as Christian McCaffrey is fucking insanity, dude. It's fucking insanity. You're talking about a slot receiver. You're ready to play a slot receiver $13 million for 700 yards of offense, but this mug ain't worth That's what he's going to be. That's exactly what he's going to be. What do you think of?
I would have traded him.
No, but what is? No, you want to keep him. You said you want to keep him.
I wanted to trade.
You just said he was just as valuable as Christian McCaffrey.
No, let me tell you. No, so this is what I'm.
I will give you a $3 million pass, bro. This mug.
This is what I'm saying about positional value. Taylor, okay. As good
See, position is more important to the play than the player, and that is bullshit when it comes to.
Taylor Moton is worth paying more than Curtis Samuel. Bottom line.
We ain't talking about that. Well, duh. Well, fucking duh. I could have told you that last year.
It's more than McCaffrey also.
It's Taylor Moton.
Running back is replaceable. We have a 1,000-yard rusher on.
He's irreplaceable, bro. Taylor Moton, irreplaceable. Irreplaceable.
1,000 yards.
Is he the best player at his position, Taylor Moton?
Right tackle.
No.
Sure.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, for real. I really do.
Well, so is Christian McCaffrey.
Okay. Exactly.
Number one. Hey, do this. Number one. Best running back in the NFL. Still doesn't deserve that money.
I don't know.
Best running back in the NFL. Still doesn't deserve that dollar amount.
Why? Period. All right. How about this? Why is it? What wasn't one of the people that Cody wanted to be our GM, Jeff Ireland?
Yeah.
What'd they just do? They paid the fuck out of Alvin Kamara. To pay the fuck out of him. Why? Because he sucked. It's not worth it. Why is it that these teams are paying Dalvin Cook? Why is it that they're paying these guys then? If they're not worth it, are you just saying that they are? All of them are wrong.
There's only one player that has proven to be worth it at the position.
Tyreek Hill.
Derrick Henry is the beginning, middle, and end of the Tennessee Titans offense.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I just cannot agree with this. Like, if anything, is like I understand that he's a beast. He's been beasting it, but he's more one-dimensional.
No, he's not. He bounces it to the outside. He runs up the middle.
Either way, I don't think in his best year is better than Christian McCaffrey's best year. Take the injury away, maybe Christian McCaffrey's putting up numbers like he is this year. Look at the first few games he played.
When you took Christian McCaffrey out of our offense, we had the same number of wins as we did last year. Take Derrick Henry off.
But we're a completely different team, homie.
We're a completely different team. That you cannot use that stat. That's a false stat to say. Well, that's like saying, well, you know what? We didn't have Christian McCaffrey in 2007 and we have 4 wins. Oh, well, I mean, but same team.
Exactly.
I mean, that doesn't make any fucking sense. That makes zero sense.
Good receivers.
We didn't have Robbie Anderson last year. We didn't have Mike Davis last year. We had the list of players that we didn't have. We're completely different. We have a different coach. We have a different. It's not that is it's a straw man argument. It's sleight of hand, Cody. That's sleight of hands. Look over here.
See you.
All right. How about this? Y'all want to ask me the questions? Demonstrate to me how he's worth it. What's worth
again? I tried to ask you this. Would $14 million make you feel better?
No.
12? How about this? Pick your team and see what they're paying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is that I can move money around in the NFL. I could be like, you know what? I'm taking $1 million from Stephen Wellerly, but did this and this, and all of a sudden, Christian McCaffrey got $4 million more than somebody else. Like, is that he is not worth it because of the number. Well, then what is the exact number? How about this? 12? If he took a pay cut to 12, would that be okay with you?
I wouldn't want to pay more than 11.
But why? That's an arbitrary number. It's an arbitrary. You just picked 11. You just picked 11.
What I'm saying is not hard.
How about 11.5? How about 11.5? Would you take that? 12?
I told you I wouldn't want to go above 11.
See? Oh, my God.
I just told you the answer. I would not want to go above 11 because all of the yards that McCaffrey gives to us, for as good as he is, it is so much cheaper to find someone like a Mike Davis who runs for
pay him $8 million. Pay him $8 million. Ugh.
Again, listen, y'all love the player, and I do too. Y'all think
it's not even. No, it's not the player. I didn't even want us to draft him, man. I was a Leonard Fournette dude. I was wrong as a motherfucker. I was wrong. I was completely wrong. All I'm just trying to say is this: how about this? Would you rather have Taylor Moton for $14 million a year, or Matt Khalil for $9 million? I'm going to say this is like, I don't give a fuck, man, what position he plays. He sucks. Matt Khalil sucks a dick. So I don't care if we're saving $1 million or $7 million. Like, you are making a mountain over a $5 million molehill.
No, you're talking about, if it's just the position, then that means you pay someone like Matt Khalil, and even they're more important than McCaffrey. No.
Yes, that's what you're saying. No, that's exactly what you're saying.
Taylor Moton's worth it. Taylor Moton is good at his job. And when you're good at tackle, that's way more fucking important than being good at running back, dude. And that's just non-emotional. That's the real truth.
It's crazy.
That's the real truth.
Crazy. It's just fitting your narrative. All right. So the Panthers.
Hey, real quick. 57 people watching. 22 likes. We're here bitching about contracts and Christian McCaffrey for fucking half an hour. Hit the like button. Come on. We're putting on a show. Again, we're more fun than watching the actual Panthers.
A lot of time. Yep.
What's going on with Brian Burns? The Panthers but how about this? Is Brian Burns' brother? You know him, CK, don't you? S. Clover. Did CK leave? CK got pissed. Yeah. He was like, fuck you, Cody, you and your bullshit. Sam Clover with S. Clover. Dude, he's calling out Teddy Bridgewater like a motherfucker all day long. I was like, we tried telling y'all motherfuckers. We tried telling you. He said, all right, so he said all the same stuff. But what's up with Brian Burns? Did he get hurt? I don't know. Is that I just saw a quote. Like I said, I got obliterated on Sunday. The tequila hit me quick. Man, once we started scoring touchdowns, I started taking tequila shots. I was like, damn. Every draft pick we dropped, I was like, shot. It was terrible. Anyway, I saw Brian Burns a quote saying, "I'll if I can play, I'm gonna play." Is that reference to an injury, or is that just him saying like it's the last game of the season? I'm gonna fucking play.
I would imagine the injury, huh?
He was questionable last week. The article came out on Christmas says he was questionable.
I'm still pissed that my man said Curtis Samuel and Christian McCaffrey in the same sentence.
Yeah,
You're emotional.
Emotional, not y'all love Curtis Samuel way too much, homie. You guys think Curtis Samuel is way better than he is.
He's a better athlete than McCaffrey.
That's a fucking lie. That's a lie. It's a straight lie.
What can he do better than McCaffrey other than run fast? What can he do better?
He's faster. He's more elusive.
He's not a better receiver. He's more elusive. What do you mean he's more elusive? Based on what?
That's he's just using buzzwords, dude.
Yeah,
that's buzzwords.
What are you basing that on that he's more elusive?
He's a faster runner. He can run away from someone.
That's not a better athlete.
That's not a
dude. John Ross is the fastest runner in the NFL. And guess how great of an athlete he is.
Christian McCaffrey.
Such bullshit.
He has like 4 drops in his entire career.
Are you going to tell me that Curtis Samuel isn't elusive?
I didn't say he wasn't elusive.
No, I'm not saying this is.
But you're saying that he's more elusive than Christian McCaffrey with nothing to base it on except you saying it.
Okay.
That's exactly right. Tell him, Greg. Tell him, Greg.
He's a faster player, and he's
this is such bullshit.
Faster than McCaffrey, and he makes people miss. He's been
Curtis Samuel must have given you a hand job before this show started, homie. That's ridiculous.
No, you're emotional. You're emotional.
That's what people say when their argument isn't sound, man. Like, we're both on the same level here.
Oh, my goodness.
Or not.
I'm not telling you you're analysts. I'm telling you you're fucking crazy at this point. At this point, I don't care what numbers you're. You know what? Donald, I was, so the Panthers game, I was listening to the Panthers game on the radio on the way to the sports bar on Sunday. And anyway, long story short, the radio channel got left on the channel that the broadcast was on for like 2 days. And I have stepped away from anything in life, discussions that matter. Like, I've been the most mad over this discussion about Christian McCaffrey and Curtis Samuel, right, as most people are mad about, like, everything in life, like COVID and the news and shit. Anyway, the radio station that the Panthers broadcast is on in Greenville is the super conservative station. Like, so it's got Glenn Beck, it's got Rush Limbaugh, right? And I am listening. It got, I left it on the station, and then I listened to him for like a day and a half. Like 20 minutes here and there. Right? And ultimately, they did the same thing. It was just like this. It was like, when you disagree with me, you're the fucking crazy emotional person. And, I'm the same one. So, Cody... You are Rush Limbaugh of this podcast. That's what you are. You're not even Rush Limbaugh. You're like the backup Rush Limbaugh.
Oh, shut up. You're the backup Rush Limbaugh. Listen, none of you have demonstrated to me.
This is what I was going to say. This is what I was going to say. I forgot. I lost where I was going.
We had the same record last year. We have an extra 1,000-yard receiver. And we have a 1,000-yard run.
You know what, Cody? That means the Matt Rule. That means that Matt Rule is no better than Ron Rivera, and I don't want to hear you say that.
Oh man, Joe Brady is just. You know what? Joe Brady is worse than Mike Shula, bro. Joe Brady's worse than Mike Shula.
I'm just saying that's your rules. You're setting them.
Dude, yeah. Matt Rule has been a surprise this season. The fact that we're as competitive as we are is a testament to our coaching staff.
Cody, how much better is our offensive line this year?
Cody Limbaugh Lashney. That's what Brad Dugan said. Cody Limbaugh Lashney.
I didn't hear it. How much better is our offensive line than this year?
How much better is what now?
Our offensive line from last year.
Better. I mean,
It's the best offensive line we've had since 2015.
$2.75. That's what he's gonna say. It's $2.75 better. I would pay. I'd rather have a Big Mac for.
Last year, you'd say it was the worst offensive line we've had in years, and Christian McCaffrey still put up those numbers.
Well, I would say
let's have a conversation.
I would say the pass protection is better this year. No, there's a difference. No, now you're saying you don't understand the difference between run blocking and pass block. Pass blocking and run blocking are two different things.
They are. Absolutely.
Our offensive line is better pass protecting this year, but we're, whatever. We have 1,000-yard rusher.
Because we feed him the ball because they don't trust our quarterback, which is exactly what happened last year with Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen was able to do the same stuff that Teddy Bridgewater was doing this year because Christian McCaffrey was in the lineup.
Well, I mean, Greg, you have been saying Christian and not Christian.
Kyle Allen and Teddy Bridgewater,
Bridgewater are the same person. So again, on a relatively equally talented football team from this year to last, we have again a 1,000-yard rusher and an extra 1,000-yard receiver. we literally replaced all of the stats that Christian.
No. We didn't replace touchdowns. We didn't replace no touchdowns.
We complain about Teddy Bridgewater because he throws for all these yards. People are like, oh, he's thrown for the third, fourth most yards in the NFL. And what do we say? Empty calories, right? How many touchdowns does Mike Davis have? Does he account for the 19 or 20 touchdowns that Christian McCaffrey does in the year?
Well,
if he doesn't, then you can't say we've replaced.
This is the most mad I've been all season, Cody.
Oh, good.
I have not been this upset.
There's no way you can't say without replacing those touchdowns he's replaced Christian McCaffrey. You can't.
Well, yeah, they shut us down in the red zone because they know
it doesn't matter. They didn't shut Christian McCaffrey down in the red zone, so that's the point. They didn't do it. I mean that's the thing,
Yeah, not all the time, but then I remember other times.
Not 19 times.
Where he very visibly was stopped on the red zone.
I understand that.
I feel like, Cody, if we went to go buy a car, say we went to go buy a car we were looking for, and we were looking for this exact make and model, right? Exact make and model with these features. We got the leather, we got this, we got the color, everything's right. We go to the dealership and we say, we're going to pay $15,000 for it. That's it. That's my top line. And they say, it's $16,000. That's as low as we can go. And you go, well, it ain't worth that. And then they're like, well, you can go buy that Hyundai over there for fucking $9,000 if you want. And you're like, nope, sorry. That $1,000 is a 100% deal.
Can I provide to you a much better analogy?
No, because it's not much better. It's a different analogy. Let's put a different. How about this? You provide me a different analogy, and I'll judge if it's better.
Okay, you are paying $500 for a premium steak when you could have a perfectly good, fully loaded, stuffed crust pizza for $10. Now, at the end of the day, do you have to have, a steak is a much better dinner? No doubt, no question. But at the end of the day, you're going to get just as full eating the piece of pizza. And
first of all, that is much more.
Other bills, and you'll be able to go and
it's more exaggerative. It is more exaggerative. It is more.
You're again saying that we've replaced what Christian McCaffrey did last year, and we haven't. You haven't provided a stat that shows that.
Other than the touchdowns, we have 1,000 yards.
Fuck Christian McCaffrey. Let's pay Curtis Samuel. Let's cut everybody and pay Curtis Samuel. All right. Anyway, the defense.
I'm saying stuff that I'm not.
That's exactly what you said.
I wanted to trade Samuel.
Oh, you can't say that now. You think he's more important, though.
He was valuable to us at a point in time, and I would have traded him.
Elusive Proximity said those are empty calories, bro. He said the pizza isn't filling my belly with TDs in the red zone.
All right, hey,
You know
man,
what?
look,
Hey, you know what that does, Cody?
You can get
When
a
you go
prime
that route,
piece of pussy, or you
instead
can
of
look at
going and
this
getting a nice
porno.
steak with a nice little. You go with the full pizza that has all the carbs and all that stuff. You're just asking yourself to go ahead and have a horrible future moving forward if that's the decision you make. Instead of eating better, it might be more expensive, but guess what? Now you have a long-term problem.
It means I'm full and I have money to go see a movie
Today,
that night.
guess what?
And
You're full today.
Bring it home.
Guess
That's
what
some
happens
bullshit, bro.
tomorrow?
That's saying that McDonald's is as good as Gordon Ramsay.
I'm not saying that isn't good. I'm saying I have.
He gets the
money for
job
other-
done. That's what
I
you're
have
saying.
Money for more other important shit, and I'm full. That's the point.
I got so many nasty sex references to make.
I love him. $16 million every year. No running back is worth that.
Here's my
I'm
biggest
sorry.
thing, Cody, right here is you say that we're one quarterback away from being a playoff contending team, right? Is that what you said?
In the playoffs, yeah.
Okay. Who built that team?
Oh, don't do this.
There we go.
So is Marty Herney the McDonald's of GMs? Is that what you're saying? Like we could have Marty
And
Herney
guess what? Marty
and
Herney
have
had
French
his quarterback at
fries
the
and a
beginning of the
Big
season that
Mac,
got
and it'd
stripped
be
away from
like,
him.
oh, we full as fuck and we fat as fuck. But we like, oh, well, fuck Gordon Ramsay and his gorgeous food over there. All right, enough of this.
Enough.
Is there any other? Actually, there isn't. We haven't talked about any news.
Talking about Brian Burns. We started talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, is there like what is there to talk about when it comes to the Panthers other than the discussion that has emerged over whether? So I like how the media, and I'm gonna throw. I like to fuck with the media a little bit now. I'm starting to become a curmudgeon. I'm starting to become the old guy that's like, the media ruined the world.
Becoming?
Yeah, good point. What I get mad about is that when I first started the podcast, the website, and I'm trying to be on, like, keep up with the stuff, make these, I won't say make connections, but be in the discussion, right? Is that Bill Voth was doing the Black and Blue review at the time. Darren Gant has been with, and they always had this air about them. It was like, we're the reporters and we're breaking the news. And so I've been doing the podcast now for 8 years. We talk about the latest shit. I listen to all the press conferences, and all they ask, not they, all of them, I shouldn't say that, lumping all of them into one. But they really ask questions that are as, like, they made fun of me for not having enough knowledge, like not being in the know. Like, oh, you should, like, you're trying to cut this player and add this player. But then they fucking do the same shit in the press conferences. And so what do? They slam Matt Rule with a bunch of questions about, what does he think about fans who are unhappy that it fucked the draft order up? You know what I'm saying? Like, they put the same questions to him that we pose on this podcast. We're doing it because we're talking to each other. And then they go do it and they all talk shit back to me. Or us. In general, is kind of what I'm saying. But they gave, the discussion comes about this. They're trying to build culture. Carolina Panthers, building culture, Matt Rule, and the win over the Washington football team. Dwayne Haskins is terrible, though, homie. He is awful. So what kind of culture are you what if I went and beat up the, I don't know, you pick it. How about this, Cody, if you ran over the blind kid?
Joey Escobar.
Yes. I mean, like, what is the analogy here? Is that, like, do we feel good about beating up the kid that can't play?
No, you shouldn't, dude. And listen, I get pissed off because I feel like people, like, I feel like we've been very open and honest, and that one, we understand that no team chooses to lose.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's not like we're up here saying, "Damn it, Panthers! Why didn't you go out there and give your worst effort?" We're not saying that. We also don't take some sick, twisted joy in cheering for the Panthers to lose. Okay, but we understand what's on the line. That there are a bunch of really good quarterbacks coming out this year, and we don't have a quarterback.
Mhm.
So it's literally that simple. That I don't care what you say. Winning a road game against the Washington football team doesn't do anything for us next year. It doesn't do anything.
Or even now, to be
It
honest.
doesn't do anything. It's meaningless, and it's people trying to virtue signal about, oh, they're good fans, or oh, you either like the culture that we're building or you want to lose. No, it means you just don't understand, and you're virtue signaling. That's 100% what it is.
Well, the only good thing it does do is that we didn't lose to a team that's worse than us.
Yeah. Well,
You know what I mean? Is that they, with Dwayne Haskins as their quarterback, they are worse than us.
Well, here's the thing: is they're coming into this game, and realistically, they still have nothing to lose because if they win this week, they win the division.
That's insanity.
The
How is that
last
even
3
possible?
weeks, all they've had to do is win, and they win the division. They've lost 2 in a row. So if they win this week, they win the division. So realistically, Ron Rivera can look at this and be like, "Okay, yeah, you beat me, but guess what? I'm gonna go win next week against. I think they're playing the Eagles at home, and we're gonna win the division, and have a home playoff game." So I don't think Ron Rivera really had a lot to lose with this game. And like you said, had they put Heineke in a little bit sooner, they probably would have won that game.
Tell us, Cody, what this did to our positioning. Panthers
So
winning this
we
week. What happened?
We dropped from the 3rd pick overall in the draft to the 9th pick in the draft.
So I feel like this, Cody, as I was more. So I have been rooting for the team all season long. And not like, first of all, everybody, like you said, everybody's been rooting for the team. You know, we're not like rooting for them not to win. But you have been trying to put the draft pick as being the important thing going forward, right? We didn't know where we were at. We kind of got in that 3-game win streak or whatever. You're like, oh my, this team. So then you get excited about the games are close, you know, and I did it. I did it for 14 or 15 weeks, you know, and then I got a taste of that top 3. Like it was like, all right, well, we're here. And we might be a 3rd pick.
And it was kind of fun to have some hope.
Like I had a taste, and so I wasn't rooting for us to tank, but all of a sudden I licked the ice cream. I was like, it tasted good. And then someone took it away. Someone took it away, and now we got a brownie. We had an ice cream cone, we got a brownie.
I wouldn't even call it a brownie. I'd call it like a not soft chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah.
There's some pretty good hard chocolate chip cookies.
There are, but soft ones are always better.
Right. And so here is that going for here 3. You know, I was for much of the season, I was in the picking 9 zone. I was in the picking 9 lane. Like I was there. I was comfortable. I was eating these. Oh, here, let's give an example. A Chips Ahoy cookie. A Chips Ahoy cookie is delicious. Come on, folks. You dunk it in. You put them in. You put them in the milk. They're great. Yeah. Great. But it's not the same as the fresh baked, like Greg is saying. So I was in the Chips Ahoy lane. I was enjoying it. I was eating the whole sleeve like I was 9 years old again. I'm going to eat this whole sleeve of Chips Ahoy cookies. And then somebody gave me the Gordon Ramsay cookie that Cody will not pay for. And
And
I have another analogy too.
It tasted good though for a moment. It just tasted good for a moment, and I was there. I was in the, and I was like, all of a sudden, I was like, oh shit, we're here, and then now we're picking a linebacker again.
And by the way, like now it reversed the way we had fun, because now instead of like at the start of the season, you're pulling for the team to win, and then they lose, and then they lose, and these one-score games, and it's just crushing. Okay, so then as we continue to lose, we start to build up a better draft pick. And all of a sudden, even though we're terrible, it's kind of fun.
Yes. It's like all of a sudden, it's like this secret fun that you're getting.
Yeah, and then now they want to have fun pissing on our fun. Just
And
I hate it. It's so stupid, man.
And realistically, losing right now is the best thing for our team. So if you're not necessarily pulling for losing, but not minding if you lose, or pulling for a good draft pick is the better thing for our team right now, I feel like you're a bigger fan.
Right. Here's the thing is 6 weeks ago, I was totally against it. I was totally against losing. 4 weeks ago. And I want to make this comparison. If your team was in the dance, right? If you had it locked up and you got the bye, there's nothing to play for in week 17. Do you trot out your players for culture?
That's why.
And then that's the thing is that for me is that all of the culture mattered until at this very end when it's all, and I'm not saying they should try to lose, but here, if they should fight to win at this moment, then so should a team that has a bye week in the playoffs to establish their culture.
Agreed.
Yeah, and by the way, how pointless is that? Like,
right when you get your Peyton Manning injured or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I mean, also the people though that are shaming us for being upset that we won instead of lost are the people that are like, yeah, we gotta go out there and play. Brian Burns needs to play. Every game matters. Doesn't matter if you're playing for anything or not. Panthers gotta win. Go Panthers! Like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense for your future. It doesn't make any sense for your present. It just doesn't make any sense, man.
I mean, it's so much like Curtis Samuel being more important than Christian McCaffrey. That's the same sense it makes. No?
You can't move me, man. By the way, I did come up with another example.
We're going. All right, go ahead, because I'm pulling the cat calls up. Go ahead.
Well, let's do a cat call, and then I'll hit you with a better analogy.
All right.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
Like Cody talking about Curtis Samuel.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
What it do, boys? It's your boy Mike, aka Supreme Litaz.
Supreme Litaz.
I have had a great week so far. Hope you guys have too.
Yeah.
I got the house to myself till Friday. Wife and kids are still up in Ohio with the in-laws, and I've been playing Apex Legends on my PlayStation all freaking day. I'm even streaming it on YouTube.
Sounds glorious.
I only have like 2 people watching me, but I do it for the love of the game, not the love of the stream. So one day I'll be like Code Dizzle. The time to strike is now for that quarterback or that tight end. I'm just kidding. The time to strike is now. So we're looking at best I would say 6 through 9. That's where we're going to be picking at, probably, based off the schedule this week. What I see that we have to do is once Jacksonville picks their quarterback and the Jets possibly pick their new quarterback, we have to hopefully hope that Houston or Miami, by way of Houston, when they pick, we have to trade for that pick and get our quarterback. That's all there is to it. There's going to be a run from Atlanta, maybe Detroit, Denver, who knows? And I can easily see Justin Fields falling to us as the third quarterback off the board.
Let's do it.
Or Trey Lance. I don't care who it is. I'm pretty sure it's going to go.
Let's go Fields,
Lawrence,
baby.
Wilson,
Fuck Trey
and then
Lance.
we got to get our quarterback this year. We got the NFC East and the AFC East next year. That's not too brutal of a schedule, plus the South and whoever else we have to play out of the NFC. This has to happen. We have to trade a first-round pick from next year, a second-round pick here, a third, fourth, fifth, whatever. We need to do it now. So let's get it. Hey, question. What's your favorite football movie? Just want to know. I like The Waterboy, Any Given Sunday. Let me know what
I
you
like
think.
The Replacements. I like The Replacements, dude, with Keanu Reeves, and Unnecessary Roughness was good back in the day as well.
Probably for me, either Any Given Sunday or Remember the Titans.
Are we talking about favorite football movies?
Yeah, favorite football movies. Have y'all seen Safety on Disney Plus?
I don't watch Disney Plus. That's for like 9-year-olds.
Well, fine. Has anyone else seen it? It's a football movie. You really are an old curmudgeon, Tony.
I would have to say probably.
That's for you. We're first
CK, you got a favorite football movie?
I do.
Rudy.
No. It's what's the one with Adam Sandler?
Oh, Waterboy.
No. The prison one.
The Longest Yard.
Yeah, The Longest Yard. There we go.
Yeah. Remake of the Burt Reynolds movie.
Mm-hmm. Do you like the original or the remake?
Remake.
Yeah, the remake is pretty fun.
Remake's great, yeah.
252-228-5098. Actually, before we move on, I do want to address something about the call. You know, we've fallen out of the quarterback ranking, it feels like. And that's what it was. Is someone, I think Trill once said, you know, it's just like it was getting tasty talking about Zach Wilson, this and that. But say somehow we're not 9. Say somehow we're 6, which I don't think is going to be. I think, man, the Panthers are going to do something like crazy, like win next week, or some other teams are going to lose next week, and we're going to be like 11. That's why I think we're falling outside the top 10.
Hey, before we move on, John Kitco Barrera, I didn't see his super chat. It says, hats off to Thomas Davis in his retirement. He put out an Instagram post, and I don't know if I have to find it. I don't know if he said the exact words that I'm retiring, but he pretty much made it seem like this is.
Well, he didn't even make the active roster. I mean, like he's been inactive pretty much the entire season until the last couple of weeks. So, I mean, he's got to understand he's done. You know,
all-time great Panther, man. All-time great Panther. Hey, can I tell you my better analogy that I made or that I came up with? Okay, you have a budget. Okay, you have to make meals for a week. You have a budget, and you go to the store. And you're buying cakes and candy and ice cream instead of meats and vegetables and all the stuff that really nourishes you. The running back position is just that, man. It's icing on top of the cake, but you don't build a meal around it. That's the better analogy.
No, that's not good because cakes and candy and ice cream cost less money than protein, meats, and everything else does. So
high calories.
Yeah, but you're
Oh,
no, that's
course.
what, no, you're making
can
my
live
point.
off
I mean,
of
they
it.
cost less. They cost.
You're making my point.
You
We're
told us we
spending a
you
lot of
told us
money
we
on-
were buying cakes. We should have been buying meats, but no, we're not making your point. You said we were buying cakes.
No, you are, because you're spending more money on something that is, one, like what Greg said, really
I see what
cheap,
you're saying.
and you shouldn't be overspending on. That's the point.
Right.
Running back
I don't
is
want to talk
good to
about this
have.
no more.
But you're making an analogy out of something that's not
I
relevant.
know,
Like that,
it's
like the
like
argument
it's
isn't
ridiculous.
like I know your position. Our argument isn't that like we're paying Christian McCaffrey a lot of money. Our
Wouldn't
argument
have-
is Christian McCaffrey, the running back position, isn't just ice cream and candy. It's more than that, especially when you have a
Not the
running
way
back.
he plays it. Right.
Yeah, when you have a running back that is also such an important part of the run game and the pass game, and that is the sole focus of a defense.
Tony is trying to say that there are certain players that even though their position value might be low, that they're just so good at that position that you justify it anyway.
Yes,
I
That's
would say
Christian
that
McCaffrey. I agree with
yes,
that.
no, I
yes.
would say that-
And what am I saying? And how is that so absurd? Am I
players-
saying this? Am I saying that they shouldn't? That you should pay like you should only have one player? Like it should just be Christian McCaffrey versus the other team? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is that saving $1.5 million on Christian McCaffrey a year to pay a nobody ass defensive end is
Why is
bullshit.
that a nobody player? Why
Because
can't
that's
be
what
one of
it
our
is.
best-
Because look at the fucking roster. I can find $4 million of players that are not that just don't contribute. So you can't be like this. Is it be like this? Well, if you don't have Christian McCaffrey, I mean, if you have Christian McCaffrey, you can't have Patrick Mahomes. That's like it's like an either or. It's like why can't I have a good meal, a steak, a potato, and a fucking something and a cake at the end? Why do I gotta have the $10 million cake at the end? What I'm just trying to say is this: is that what number would make you happy? Is it $13 million? Well, then you know what? I will shave All right. Well, you know what? I will shave it off of somebody else's salary, homie.
$10 million.
I promise you, this Christian McCaffrey won't annoy you until it's time to pay, like, say, Brian Burns. And it should annoy you now that we're probably not going to have the money to pay Taylor Moton. But my point is, you're overpaying.
We
for
don't
something.
have money to pay those dudes, not
give you
because
the
of
better
Christian
example.
McCaffrey, but
So
because of
that's
other
right.
positions. How about that?
Here's the example where you would be right. A player that transcends their position value. Luke Kuechly. Normally, you don't pay middle linebackers that the kind
Your
of money.
feelings
that Luke got
are in
paid.
the way. You're letting your emotions get in the way of your
No,
judgment.
you're not. No, what I'm actually saying is Luke Kuechly is a talent that is transcendent enough that you do pay
So is
them
Christian
even at
McCaffrey.
a, even
So is
at a
Christian
position.
McCaffrey. Easily. Christian
Because by the way,
McCaffrey
look at the
fits that mold.
look at the drop off in our defense from having Luke in our midfield to
Our defense
not
was
to not having
garbage
it.
last year
And then
with him
now
in the
compare
lineup.
Our offense from last year to this year, and
Let's-
it's virtually the
Luke
same. if not
Kuechly
better.
is not
I-
transcendent. Do you know we had the same amount of wins last year as
Did
we
you
had
say
this
Luke is
year?
not transcendent?
No, I mean we had the same. We had Luke last year. We had 5 wins. We don't have Luke this year. We got 5 wins. Duh.
That's your bar that you said it at right there.
I
Cody.
mean,
Yeah.
like, gosh. I mean, duh.
No, Luke Kuechly
Same
was the strategist on our defense that put our defense in the right positions. Whereas McCaffrey, like I already said,
It's just a
million
bum.
fucking
He's
times,
a fucking
we have
bum.
replaced
It's a bum.
all of his numbers.
We have
already.
not. We have not.
No, we
We
haven't.
have-
We haven't replaced the most important.
Jeremy Chin
other than the
replaced
most
Luke
important
Kuechly.
number.
Straight up.
The
Boom.
most important.
We've been
Apples
saying
for
all
apples.
year that that's all on Bridgewater, and now it's not. We had red zone
Mike
lowest
Davis getting his empty calories is all on Bridgewater.
No, I'm saying
All right,
our
I'm done
red zone
talking about this.
offense being as
I am
bad as
done.
it
So
is.
Mike Davis never got a run in the red zone. Never once not got a chance in the red zone.
Mike
Yeah,
Davis hasn't been as
Okay,
good
so you
as he
can't make that
was.
argument then, man.
He'll
Mike
make
Davis
it
had
happen.
opportunities.
The reality is Mike Davis had 3 to 4 good games where he was running over people. Ever since then, he hasn't made highlight reels. He's not. Like he's not. Christian McCaffrey made him every single game.
He's
like
the Wonder Woman of running backs.
And
what
the
he is.
difference,
He's good, but he's not great. He's the Wonder Woman of running backs.
What it means to
The
a
drop
football
off
team,
between Luke Kuechly and AJ Klein is negligible, and I would rather save $6 million paying AJ Klein money that is worth the middle linebacker position. It's bullshit. All right,
no.
Let's talk about something else. That's more important. I'm done talking about this, dude. I don't want to talk about it no more. Don't want to talk about it no more. What I want to ask you is this. Is Justin Fields, who was, and back to the call, Supreme Lita Mike, he's talking about quarterbacks, this and that quarterbacks. Zach Wilson out of we're not in the top 3 anymore, but all of a sudden the Justin Fields could be dropping. He was just a month ago the consensus number 2 quarterback. Would it be irresponsible or unwise for the Carolina Panthers to go after that?
Do you mean go after it at
Justin Fields? You know what I'm saying?
Like
if I
9 or trade up for him?
No, yeah, say 9. Say he's there at 9.
If he's
he
there
was
at
the
9,
consensus number 2 quarterback just a month ago, right? Like just 1 month ago, and even before COVID, like we hadn't seen. Everybody's like, nope, done. He's a done deal, homie. He's the dude. He's the dude. He's the dude. That's what they said. And I understand that Zach Wilson's stock has risen. I understand that. I'm not saying it shouldn't have. And I understand that Justin Fields' stock has fallen. But does that mean he's not worth it anymore?
Right. I say you take him if he's there at 9, and you got it.
Yeah, so the reason why people are starting to sour on him is because he hadn't played well. In the past few games, whenever the protection breaks down and it has to scramble, the best quarterbacks keep their eyes downfield, and he's been getting kind of flustered. And that doesn't normally get better at the NFL level, but then again, it's not – I wouldn't say that it's such a concern that everyone's like, whoa, he's going to be terrible and be a bust. No, listen, especially if we're picking somewhere like number 9, we should thank our lucky stars that Justin Fields would fall to us. But I mean, it is interesting because I don't know how far he's going to fall. Because just being real with you, I don't know if he's going to have a bounce back game against my Clemson Tigers. I'm not just being biased. I really don't think they will. I think Ohio State was a better team last year. So if Clemson comes in and just dirt stomps old boy, he might be in more of a free fall than we would have thought before.
That's good.
Does that work the other way though? What if he what if he beats Clemson? Does that mean he skyrockets and his draft stock goes back up?
Yeah, it certainly helps him for sure. It's definitely more of especially if he goes on to win like a national championship. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Right now, I mean, Zach Wilson is done playing football. Mm-hmm. Justin Fields has 2 more opportunities to impress against the best teams in all of college football.
Okay.
So he has an opportunity to change that. But right now,
to 12.
if the draft is right now, I'm almost certain that Zach Wilson's probably the second quarterback team.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's go. 252-228-5098.
You know, guys, this Carolina shit, it's getting old. How the hell? Like, when all the signs point at us getting the number 3 pick today, what in the actual fuck? Like, seriously. Tired Whitehead had a fucking game. Like, what? Dude has been sleeping all year long, and he gets an interception today. This is the most Panthers thing that has happened this year. Like, to a fucking T. Like, you know what? I'm driving down to Charlotte. I'm stealing Teddy's minivan, and I'm driving over his legs. That's the only way that this is going to get any better. You know, quite honestly, I wouldn't even be mad if we didn't take a QB. You know, if we had that number 3 pick, I wouldn't have even been mad if we had taken that tackle, because we have PJ fucking Walker, and I would have said start PJ, bench Teddy. I would have been more than okay with that. Let's fix up the O-line. You know, maybe in the 6th or 7th round, pick up a tight end or two. You know, get maybe like a safety or a linebacker or something. Well, Jeremy Chin's been doing pretty good at safety, so maybe not necessarily a safety, but, you know, little something for the defense, but mostly shore up the offensive line. And I would have been more than happy with PJ being the quarterback. Because you know what? He's proven that he can get the job done. And Teddy, break your other leg, man. Because I'm tired of this. This is ridiculous.
Damn.
He said go crooked D.
Oh, we played a complete game today. Dude, you were shut out in the second half.
Yeah, I don't think
You
he scored
scored 14 points out of your 20. 20 points the entire game to the football team. Guys that don't even have an actual name. Like, seriously? Our old third-string quarterback looked better than you did. The dude that went to the XFL and he was the third-string quarterback, didn't play a single damn snap, looked better than you did. Teddy, I'm tired of this whole shit. Like, what the hell, man?
CK, thanks, Nick, for the call. CK, after watching that game, you've talked about this all season long when it comes to deep balls, this and that. Teddy, did he do anything different? And
No.
I think that it's no. Like, even the deep ones that he
were
hit.
off target. Again, it's something we've been talking about. Like, he underthrew Curtis Samuel to where Curtis Samuel had to stop in his route, and guess what? He got hit right when he got the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
Right? It's just the reality of what Teddy Bridgewater is. He has yet, in my opinion, to throw an impressive football. Like, he's gotten the ball to receivers. Like, he's gotten the ball to receivers, and he's done that job, you know, to a point where he's got a great completion percentage. But when you talk about a NFL professional elite level throw, I've yet to see it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
There's
there's
no
only one
big-time
standout
throws.
play I can think of with Teddy Bridgewater, and that's the one run a few weeks ago where he dove. Like, I was impressed with that. Other than that, I can't think of a Teddy Bridgewater highlight.
The best plays
throw.
he's made has been with his legs. Every deep shot he's taken has either been wide open or it's gotten there. The ball, it just takes so long for it to get there. You're like, even the receivers, I feel like, are taking a nap as it gets to them. It is, at this point, more than him being conservative. He doesn't.
He's
have the arm
regressed.
strength. He doesn't have the arm strength.
Now,
He just doesn't have the arm strength.
but listen, once again, this podcast and the people on it, all of us, pat ourselves on the back. We were on this shit way earlier than everyone else. That Teddy Bridgewater is not just all these things that we already know, lacking arm talent, lacking aggressiveness, but he has now regressed.
Yeah.
He is playing worse than even his bench line level of play. I mean, the guy has thrown 4 touchdowns in 5 weeks. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing.
He's thrown 14 touchdowns in 15. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the same stat.
By the way, his other previous high of touchdown passes was 14 in the season.
Yeah, we made the Pro Bowl.
Homeboy might fuck around. He might fuck around and have 2 more total touchdowns with the receiving core like DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, Robbie Anderson. Dude, come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
He really is. Like, this is who he is. This is who he is.
Brad Dugan in the chat says he can only throw checkdowns to Teddy when playing Madden 21.
Right. The thing that with Teddy, the only thing he does good is the 1-2-3 throw. 1-2-3 throw. It's like the slant, 1-2-3 slant. It's just the time. And it's one of those for someone who was an undersized kid. My dad told me this stupid thing when I was a kid. When I was trying to learn, I was playing baseball. I played a lot of baseball when I was a kid. My dad was like, and I was trying to learn how to pitch. And he was like, you got to work on location. Like he was trying to teach me to be Greg Maddux or some shit. And like, yes, that's good. But at the same point, if the ball can't get there, I don't care. Like what? I mean, it was just like Teddy's ball looks like a high school kid is throwing it.
So can I throw this out to y'all? Bill Voth made a Twitter thread.
Fuck Bill Voth, by the way.
No, I know that a lot of people are on that train too. But like, he made this thread, and at the very end of the thread, he was like, people ask me, how can you have your job and not be a fan of the team? And he says it's for moments like this when he is able to see the team with a level of clarity and not have a fan's amount of bias. So Bill Vogt says it this way. Really, no matter what happened this year, Teddy Bridgewater is a 2-year deal.
We understood that. Money-wise, that's true. Everybody understood that. I didn't need to be a Browns fan to understand that, though.
So with that in mind, if we're gonna have Teddy as a starter for another year,
he doesn't have to start next year. He just has to be on the team,
right? And I do hope that there's a competition. If the Panthers do draft a quarterback, don't just let Teddy Bridgewater have the starting job because you're paying him. Make him fucking earn it. Have you noticed Teddy Bridgewater plays with no fire and no passion? Because he knows his job isn't on the line. He knows they're going to move on from him, too. He's phoning it in.
I say, all right, so I did not like the Bill Vogt tweet because, again, that kind of goes to the condescending media. Like, y'all are too emotional and we're the objective motherfuckers. No, we all could have told you that cutting Teddy Bridgewater this season would be a financially unwise situation. But that does not mean he has to be the quarterback next year. Right. And it doesn't even matter, like, even if he starts the year as a quarter. Like, if we got Zach Wilson in the draft, which we're not now, but I could see a complete Justin Herbert situation. Where you go with Tyrod Taylor until you don't. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, no, I don't. And I understand that we did sign him for 2 years. Like, we are stuck with him contractually. But that does not mean we have that he has to put the Teddy BD on our face every day. Right. Let's go to the next call. 252-228-5098.
Hey, it's Run DMC Lovato. I got something to say to all the fans that sit here and act like people who were voting to tank aren't real fans. And, I would never go against my team. I always want them to win no matter what. Listen here, motherfucker, okay? You are dumb as fuck. You're living in the moment and not thinking about the future, okay? You're the kind of guy who goes and gambles his paycheck and says, well, fuck my future. If I win, I win. I'm living for the now, not the later, okay? We're planning for the fucking future. We want us to lose so we can have success for a long period of time. You just don't give a fuck. You're thinking about right now and that's it. Okay, so to call us fake fans, I think you're the fucking fake fan or the dumb fan. You're the kind of guy who doesn't even know what a 401k is. You're fucking stupid as fuck. I don't want to hear shit from these fans who say, I'll never go against my team to win. You were stupid to even say that because we just lost out on having a quarterback most likely. So that's all I got to say.
All right, great call,
Tyler, man.
Next call.
I think we all feel that way.
I'm legit watching the game with Josh, and we're both cheering whenever we got an interception. Whenever Teddy threw an interception. We both cheered whenever Teddy got sacked.
Yeah. Dude, that's how I've been the past 5 games.
I'm okay with getting a better draft pick at this point. Like, I'm okay with losing right now just to get better players. Because I know then the bleeding will stop. But dear Lord, the defense showed up. I mean, it was the football team, but they showed up. Special teams, they've looked pretty damn good all season long, which is a nice blessing. Back to the defense. The defense, they've been shaping up. They've shown a lot of improvement, which is what everyone's been saying. That's all we've ever wanted out of this year was for people to show improvement. But the offense looked like Teddy Bridgewater. useless. You know, Curtis Samuel had one hell of a day. Mike Davis showed up, did what he does.
Cut
DJ
Christian.
Moore showed up, did what he does. But Teddy just failed everyone. Like, how does that? And that's the thing. He has to fail everyone for us to get a better draft pick. So I mean, I should be happy that he's in. And
yeah, you should.
In some aspects, I am, but only when we lose. Like, at this point, we don't know what we really have in PJ Walker. We don't know what we have in Will Greer, even though we know that he's pretty terrible.
I can tell you, not enough.
You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people on the roster that have never seen a snap. Like, I don't know, Aaron Montero comes to mind just because he shares the same last name as me. Never played a snap. Don't know how he is on the field, like, or not in the playoffs. Matt Rule, play everyone that doesn't normally play so that way we know what we have. And what's the worst that happens? We get a better draft pick? I'm pretty sure if you went to David Tepper and said that, hey, I'm trying out all these players so that way we know what we have and we can go from there and we're going to try to get a better draft pick, he'd be like, cool, sweet, let's do it. You know, more ticket sales next year whenever we have a very solid team. We are not going to sell tickets with Teddy fucking goddamn minivan Bridgewater. Dude is a dumpster fire and deserves to rot in a dumpster.
Deserves to rot in a dumpster.
And I'm sorry, but it's just been a rough day.
I hear you. All right, let's go to the next call.
Hi, guys. It's Jedi Joy. I just wanted to chime in on the conversation here. I'm going to defend Cody just a little bit here. I think he is dead wrong on the whole Curtis Samuel being more talented than Christian McCaffrey. Curtis Samuel wasn't anywhere near MVP.
I said it.
So there's just that alone.
That is what I said.
There is merit to what he's saying. When it comes to building a football team, it's a science. The league has been around for over 100 years. So you want to build your offensive line, you want to build your defensive line, you want to get a quarterback, and you want to get a middle linebacker that can play both sides of the field at all time. Your running back is arguably the least important, position on the field. Not to say that there aren't there's great running backs all throughout history, but if there's an unwritten rule in the NFL, it's don't overpay your running backs. And I'm not even saying that Christian McCaffrey got paid too much, because honestly, I would have used the fifth year and then gone with a franchise tag. It's not so much the money, it's the amount of years that is on his contract. And hopefully, God forbid, this season is an anomaly and he doesn't have injury issues in the future. But if he does, we're stuck with a running back that's not playing at all for the next 5 years. Like, if anything, you want to sign your running back to a 3-year contract. Now, your running backs aren't going to like that. They might hold out, even if you, try to franchise tag them. But if that's the case, then let them go. Like, we can see the case with Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell is one of the best running backs in the league, in 2016. But now he's a side piece on this Kansas City team. I mean, he's still a great player, but he's nowhere near the production that he had, 5 years ago. I got a lot of slack the other day. I went on Facebook and I said, hey, we should probably trade Christian McCaffrey if Deshaun Watson is available. Trade Christian McCaffrey for Deshaun Watson. Maybe we might have to throw a third round pick just so we can, just because of the injury history this year. And so many people were like, oh, yeah, you know what you're talking about. And there is a lot of emotion around Christian McCaffrey because simply he's the only thing on this team that is, the only person on this team that's worth
He's not only star.
any kind of trade bait.
All right, I think this is Jedi Joe again.
Hey guys, Jedi again. I got cut off there. I just wanted to add. So I I was looking, what best case scenario for a running back in his career. I would say in recent history is probably Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson over his first 8 years had damn near 1,000. He had 1,000. I think the first 4 years he got injured, I think, in his fourth, but he had 970, and then proceeded to have, I think like 5 more 1,000-yard rushing seasons. He's the best case scenario for a running back.
No, but
And
he's
one
only
that you
a
would
running
say,
back.
Hey, we should overpay for him because he's our offense on our team. A, what did that do for the Minnesota Vikings? Other
Made Teddy
than
Bridgewater
the
a Pro
year
Bowler.
that they had, the 2 years that they had.
I think
Brett
he's
Favre,
more like
and
LaDainian
he,
Tomlinson
helped,
or
spread the
who
offense
was
a little bit.
homeboy for
And
the Saints?
after those 8
Marshall
years,
Faulk, exactly.
he fell off a cliff. I think he had like 400, 500 yards for a couple of seasons, and then he had a crazy, I think 2,000-yard season with a different team. It's just, that's the thing I think Cody is mainly saying. The position doesn't merit these long contracts. You want to get positions that are protected, or that are going to be longevity positions. Left tackle, you can have left tackle for 16 years. Quarterback, you can have a quarterback for 20 years now. A middle linebacker, you can have a middle linebacker for 10 years. Unfortunately, we lost Kuechly, due to some bad injuries with concussions. But you want to invest in the positions that you're going to have for a long time so you can build around them. You can find skilled position players, wide receivers, tight ends, running backs in almost every draft. There's a lot of talent out there. So, that's all I had to say.
I do
keep on,
think
guys.
this is, I will
I'm
say
gonna go cry
this.
about beating fucking Washington.
I think running back may be one of the most easily replaced through the draft positions. And that is that you take a running back in the top 20, he's going to do good for 3 years, probably.
Yeah.
But I don't think a good comparison is Adrian Peterson. I think it is, who'd you get? Marshall Faulk. LaDainian Tomlinson, I think, are the types of players we're talking about. And I think, too, another thing is that just a couple years ago when CMC and Alvin Kamara were coming out, we were talking about them as a new type of player, not a traditional running back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that they are more than that.
Aren't you at all worried about the trend that as soon as we paid him, just like as soon as the Rams paid Todd Gurley, now all of a sudden his injury history and us playing Christian McCaffrey on every single snap and running him into, so we pay.
I'm not worried about it because I watched this, is that we've been we've been very cautious with his injuries. We've protected him this year. And like these mysterious injuries that are coming up, bro, are not the same. I think that is a way of protecting the asset. And the shoulder injury, which was kind of, I won't say a freak one, it's one that he probably should have had by now. He got slammed down making a great play.
And that can happen on literally any play at literally any time.
But it could happen to any player. Then we shouldn't get in a car and drive. Then we shouldn't get in a car and drive because we could get in a car accident.
So you're telling me
that's like saying don't run Cam because he could be hurt. No, run that boy. He is a lion.
Going forward, y'all, this is what I'm saying. Y'all are being emotional. Because you're
emotional, homie. You're dogmatic. How about that? You might not be emotional. You're dogmatic. You're dogmatic.
He's a 300-pound man, and we expect that he's supposed to stay healthy. Like if he continues to have these injuries,
you know what? Where were you guys? Where were you assholes when I said that before he got drafted? That was my whole argument against him before he got drafted. And guess what? He proved me wrong.
No, he didn't prove anything.
Yes, he did. He went 3 years without getting hurt. He went 3 years without getting hurt. I've seen big ass motherfucking Donkey Kong mugs get hurt in their first day.
pay him.
Let me
Now
ask
he's
you something.
soft to say
As soon as we pay them, as soon as they
Cody,
soft.
let me
I'm
ask you
not
something.
wrong.
Is the drop off from Christian McCaffrey to say the next tier of running backs different than the drop off from Trevor Lawrence to say like a Justin Fields or a quarterback like that? Like, do you think that you can win a Super Bowl? Maybe he may have less yards, a few less touchdowns with somebody less than Trevor Lawrence. Because this is the way you feel about Trevor Lawrence, is you'll defend him to the T. But I feel like you're making the same argument that we make against Trevor Lawrence. I can get the same kind of production out of a player like a Justin Fields or a Zach Wilson
without trading 10 years
without
of
Trevor
draft
Lawrence,
picks.
without trading away everything and have the play. So you're making the same argument that we do against Trevor Lawrence.
Well, no, I'm not, because
Yes, you
you're
are.
still
Yes, you
you're
is.
taking
No,
out
no,
the
I'm not
central piece of
emotional.
the argument. You're taking out the central piece of the argument and throwing it away. A quarterback and a running back, they're literally not comparable. And by the way, the drop off. Listen, I mean, look how many other fantastic running backs are
What if your
tearing it up.
quarterback can
Alvin
run the ball?
Kamara,
Is he
Alvin
comparable
Cook.
to a running back?
Okay,
What
so
if your quarterback is Lamar Jackson? Can
you're
you
gonna name
compare him
five,
to a
of
running
course,
back?
with the top five.
I'm
You know,
so
that's
done
the
with
tier I'm
this.
talking about. If you're going to name five running backs, yes.
Can we talk
there
about
are five
Bitcoin
running backs in the
instead?
league that are elite, and they all get paid.
Yeah, and you can have them for longer and cheaper when you draft them later.
Y'all are all fired. We're not talking about this anymore. 252-228-5098.
Hey, Tony. Hey, guys. It's Chuck calling from Elizabeth City.
Hey, Chuck.
I just kind of
give
wanted
us a
to
voice
look
of
at
reason,
something.
please.
And, you know, I'm as upset as everybody else, the fact that we're not at number 3 right now. And, you know, I kind of left a message earlier that could change. I really do feel we won't get back up to 3, but I kind of feel like we'll probably be around 6 or 7. I think a couple of these teams will win upset games. And, you know, who knows? We might even win the Saint game. You never
Then
know.
we
We could
ain't
end up
at
being
6 or
around 10,
7.
11, 12. Who knows? We got time to look at that. I really like the progression of the team and what's been going on. But one thing lost in all this we should look at, between playing the Redskins last year and this year, there's one constant in that. You know, we had Cam last year, and I think Kyle Allen might have played in that game last year, in a game that we just crapped the bed and lost. And this year, going back a couple of weeks ago, I thought we were going to get murdered by Washington. And we somehow hold our own against every team
Dwayne
this
Haskins.
year, but somehow not Tampa. And we had them in the second game. Like I said, we were tied at halftime. But the one thing I want to look at, the one constant between playing Washington last year and Washington this year, is the losing coach. We had Ron last year, and it got him fired. He looked pathetic. He had his hands crossed, arms crossed on the sideline last year, and he deserved to be fired. This year, they got a chance to win the division. Got his arms crossed, didn't pull his quarterback out enough. Washington fans are going to suffer through what we had to suffer through many years.
Yeah.
The one constant in these two games is the losing coach, Ron Rivera. I'm so glad we've lost that. Hey, I'll take this new coach, man, Rule, any day of the week. I don't care about draft position. He's got the guys playing, and he wants to win, and we're moving up. So I like where we're heading, guys.
Wow. Shots fired at Ron Rivera.
I like
guys, Chuck from Elizabeth.
Go ahead, Cody.
No, I agree with that. And like I said, I was listening to Peter King, and I think he hit the nail on the head. Shout out to him. This move happened too late. It should have already happened. And that was an indictment of Ron Rivera's first tenure with the Panthers.
Especially
he would do everything
starting him. If he's that bad, why even start him?
Yeah, 100%. Like what? And so it was. Look how many strikes, right? So he had a captaincy at the start of the season. They removed that from him. There was this, but then there's been a bunch of other incidents in the past too. And I think
don't
it was
feel like, I think you guys make the mask shit too much. Like the mask at the strip club mess is too much. Like I'm not as upset as most people are. What I'm upset about, if I'm a football team fan, is how bad he plays. Not about him being at the strip club and getting, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that wasn't the big deal. The problem is he just stinks.
So what happens if I say, hey, man, Ohio State quarterbacks, That's what
You know, I've been
get.
thinking about this is because I'm kind of superstitious about that with University of Southern California wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
But I went and looked at the list of quarterbacks because this is a popular talking point right now on Twitter is fuck the Ohio State quarterbacks. They suck. Boo, 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 boo. And I went and looked at the list, and it was Haskins, it was Pryor, it was some guy named Tamlovich, but I looked at all the. I looked at but I don't feel like we were in love with any of those prospects as quarterbacks in the pros. I thought they were like, oh, they're good college players, they're good athletes, this and that. But I don't feel like anybody was like, oh, Cardell Jones can be the next motherfucking Drew Brees or some shit like that. I didn't even hear that. Justin Fields, I did hear that with. I didn't hear that about Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins, maybe they tried to say was the most. Anytime someone tells you the most pro-ready quarterback, fuck that. Those guys are going to suck. That's what they said about Jimmy Clausen. That's what they said about Will Greer. This and that. Fuck that. If you are pro-ready, you're going to be. If that's the best thing they got to say about you, you're going to be sorry. I promise you that.
But do you believe that you shouldn't judge the helmet? Like, because I feel like you kind of do both of them.
No,
Like,
I agree. I agree with you. I agree that you I think that's a fair criticism of me. But what I'm saying about is that we thought that all these USC wide receivers were going to be the fucking shit. Like, I don't think it's fair to say, like, well, Ohio State's never had a good quarterback, but we all thought 85% of them were going to be mediocre anyway, and there was only one that got any clout. I feel like Justin Fields is the most touted quarterback on the list that I saw. I went back and looked, and over the last decade, 20 years, I would say that Justin Fields is the only name that I've seen on that list that people were gushing over. That we're getting chubbies over. So I don't think that's fair either to be like, oh, well, they didn't do well. Well, like, we weren't that high on Terrell Pryor.
Well, also last year,
we just weren't. But the whole world wasn't.
Well, but also last year, people were doing the same thing about Oregon quarterbacks. Oregon quarterbacks bust. Oregon quarterbacks don't work out. Look at Marcus Mariota. Yeah, Justin Herbert squashed that shit, didn't he? And hey, I remember once upon a time, even some people on this podcast in the chat were like, hey, man, you don't draft edge rushers from Florida State. You just don't do it. They don't ever pan out. So, yeah, it's all right. But how about this, Tony? What about Trey Lance from North Dakota State University?
Fuck it. No.
Why?
No.
Why?
Because he got a 2-year degree, bitch.
He got what?
It feels like he goes to community college. I teach at a community college like that. I mean, it's just like, nah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, like it could possibly work, but so was Carson Wentz, right?
I think he has better physical talent than Justin Fields.
I don't know. I don't know. I just have no idea. Like, don't worry. I've never seen him play.
Well, could you at least do that for me at some point in time?
I don't give a fuck. Not until he's drafted by the Carolina. I will not look at it.
What if your co-host is trying to point you in the direction of your future quarterback?
I will have to trust you, I guess. But you know what? Why would I trust you when you said that Curtis Samuel is a better athlete than Christian McCaffrey?
What were you going to ask me?
I was going to ask you, who was the quarterback that we had a chat on Twitter earlier with somebody? I think it was Mike Vela, and he was talking about Trax. Is that the guy's name?
Trask.
Oh, Trask.
Yeah, Trask.
Yeah. He's the Florida quarterback. So listen, there are two quarterbacks that I'm not saying are frauds, but they're more reminiscent of quarterbacks from yesteryear, meaning they're pocket passers, and that's what they are. And I also don't rate them as high as Joe Burrow last year, Matt Jones from Alabama, and Kyle Trask from Florida. They're both in the Heisman race, and I see them both as being the victim of teams that have an incredible amount of talent.
All right, I got to go to this. Let's go to the chat room. Everybody's talking about Okung's weird. Why is he weird? Because my man got $7 million in Bitcoin And it could be like $14 million like tomorrow. It could also be like $2 million. You know what is that? Okung should have gotten paid his first half salary in Bitcoin because it would have tripled.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just 6 months ago, it was like.
Well, don't worry. If he does it, it's going to.
He got $6 million in Bitcoin. That's the only.
$6 million in Bitcoin next year.
It could be 12. It could be 12. It could be 2.
Way more. It could be more than 12. Like it's at 27 right now. When it closed today, they're talking about it being 100 by the end of next year.
But how
We're
about
talking about capping out at maybe $400 million.
How about this on Russell? One, I appreciate him for like really
$400,000.
being about that life. Like he has been talking about Bitcoin forever. It's a part of his Twitter handle.
Yeah.
Like it's a real thing to this man, and he's quite literally putting his money where his mouth is and saying, "I want Bitcoin over real dollars." Second, you know what my real beef is? Like, I feel like most fans kind of take the piss at him to steal from our friends across the pond because of his anti-lockdown stance. Like, if you follow him on Twitter, he's very much anti-lockdown and that this is ruining small businesses, which, by the way, is all 100% true. And he speaks very vocally about that. And a lot of people give him a lot of shit. And then they also pair it with, I mean, he's not playing well. I mean, I never said that the trade was worth it. No one ever thought that he would be a long-term option.
A 1 year stopgap. 1 year stopgap. That's what he was.
Yeah,
and you know what? They always start him. They are going crazy about him. They're like, he's not in. He's not in.
Yeah,
you know, like they want him there. Matt Rule wants him in the game.
I just feel like a lot of people hate on him for the wrong reasons. You know, if you want to hate him because he's not a good football player, fine, that's one thing. But at least the man is living up to his word.
Dude, my man negotiates his own contracts.
Yeah, the dude's a beast, man.
He's awesome. And you know what? The only reason y'all don't love him is because we signed him 5 years late. We should have signed. We had the option between Matt Khalil and Russell Okung. They got paid the same amount of money, basically. You know? Like, we could have had Russell Okung for 3 years where he was pretty good.
A whole lot better, yeah.
Shout out to Brad Dugan says, as a Gators fan, Kyle Trask stock is rising. He needs to work on his arm strength and be more mobile and athletic in the pocket.
We need another quarterback that needs an arm strength issue.
I don't think you can work on Can you really work on it at this point in your career?
I don't think you can,
I was about to say a lot of those things, Brad, you either have or you don't. You can work on accuracy. You can work on footwork. There's a lot of things that you can improve going through your progressions. But arm strength, you either have or you don't. And mobility, you either have or you don't. And I've seen him run.
Power through
Kyle Trask will run, but he's slow. Real slow.
Oh, well, that's what I said. Well, all right. Well, we're not going to talk about that stuff anymore. Next call.
If we lose the game. But if we get in a situation like Sunday and we got a chance to win at Dutchfield, from Elizabeth City calling again. One thing I hope you guys focus on tonight or even talk about is playing the one team that I've grown to detest so much is the New Orleans Saints. You know, I know if we lose this game and some other teams win that we can move up in the draft. But I'm so sick and tired of losing to that Kenny Chesney from the loins of Nancy Pelosi looking fucking Sean Payton. I'm so sick of that piece of
Kenny
shit.
Chesney's related to Nancy
Pelosi. I
Pelosi.
want to win the game. I will understand if we lose the game, but if we get in a situation like Sunday and we got a chance to win, it does feel good to win. And I can't stand that piece of shit coach for the Saints. He may be a good coach, but I'll tell you guys, I look at him on the sideline, his little smirky look, and I just want to smack the shit out of him. And it's time that this game, where we want to lose against the Saints, that we make a statement with Matt Rule starting next year, or this Sunday, really. We start beating the shit out of that piece of shit coach. And that's all I...
Ooh. I've never heard Chuck be like that before.
I'm not mad.
I echo the exact same sentiment. Like, honestly, I cannot stand Sean Payton. with any with almost as much certainty as I could possibly have. I dislike him as a human being, and this is gonna sound shitty, but when I found out he had COVID, I didn't even give a fuck.
I'm the opposite. I'm the opposite, man. I'm the opposite. Is this? You don't want him in the end zone, you kick him out. Like, remember when they got mad at Cam for dancing, like in the end zone, and they're like, and he said, "You don't want me dancing in the end zone? Kick me out." And look, I don't like the Saints, but I dislike the Falcons more. And
for me right now,
it's the Falcons.
I want us to lose, but at the same time, I understand that level of hatred for the Saints. I have many family members who are diehard New Orleans Saints fans.
Is it really, if they trot out their regular team though, like if they trot out the full strength, that Saints defense is swarming right now, bro.
Yeah, yeah, they are, and I think they're Teddy Bridgewater's not going to. I was about to say not going to be able to throw the ball, did he? But we already know he's not doing that anyway. All they have to do is defend the check down and rush, and they'll be able to do it. So
my mom is in the chat room in here saying we need more. She's like basically saying don't be so mean to the Saints because she's super Catholic and she loves Saints. Don't worry, Mom. They are the evil. They're like think of this, Mom. They're imposter saints. They're like black magic saints. That's what they are. They're not real saints. They're not real. They're not those kinds of saints. They're not the real ones. They're not real ones. Next call.
Hey guys, hope you're doing well. I love the podcast. It's really cool. National media doesn't give us near the love. I mean, obviously, small market team, we don't.
Thanks for the call, bro.
I found out about you guys on the round table. That was super cool. Hopefully, y'all can do another one of those by the end of the year. But I want to get into some thoughts on Teddy and if I have time, Herney. Teddy, people are going to, I mean, he hasn't been great this year. His conservatism and his lack of arm strength limit this offense and makes it predictable. And you've seen, if anything, this offense over the last 5 to 6 weeks has gotten worse. People will continuously bring up his completion percentage. And, he's completing almost 70% of his passes. I believe a little over 70% of his passes, which is good. But when you break it down and look at, he's bottom 8 in yards per attempt. It's like 6 yards per attempt. Of course, you're going to have a high completion percentage. And whenever you're not elevating, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, Robbie Anderson, arguably a top 5 receiving core in the league, it's pretty obvious that you aren't the guy. I mean, I don't know how much more obvious that can be for these guys. I mean, we've had countless chances this year. I mean, to come back and win. I mean, I value situational accuracy so much more than completion percentage. You're making $21 million a year. You're supposed to be held accountable to make big time throws late in games. They made a clear distinction. They thought that he was better than Cam Newton, which is ridiculous to me. Cam Newton on 3rd and 4th and 1s. You know how many games we lost like that the past 2 seasons. He converts almost 85 to 89% of it. I mean, I believe it's 89% of those situations. He is elite at whenever you need to get a yard or two. He can do that. And I think people are going to talk about how Cam has looked bad at times this season, and I'm going to acknowledge that. He's also rushed for 12 touchdowns. He's done that 3 times in his career. Nobody's done that before. Cam is I think that there's no way we can keep going forward with Teddy.
True.
There's no way.
Good call
I
so
think
far.
we've seen too much tape. We've seen too many bad things happen. And as far as I want to get a few quick thoughts on Herney real quick, and I'll let you guys go. Herney, the 2018 draft class, Greg Little, inexcusable. Some of these I understand. I kind of understand the Russell Okung thing. I think that was more of a salary dump thing. But Trey Turner was a pretty good guard.
No.
And now, I mean, our offensive
he
line this year
was
hasn't been great.
deteriorating.
But I think it's been a little better than expected. I mean, we don't win matchups well, and really, other than Moten, there's not a really solid guy up there. But I think they've been better than expected. I think we've seen the defense, improve a lot this season. I think that with, if anything, the only 2 positions that I haven't seen improve this year, I would say, are the tight end position and the quarterback position.
Yeah,
I think if anything, the quarterback has regressed.
What a good call.
I think that's fair to say. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thanks for joining the podcast. I love that call. And I think that's exactly right, is that we've been asking for progression in so many points, and this is really, there's not even a reason to be upset at this point. Is like, this is exactly what we expected. Teddy just turned out to be a little bit worse than we thought. That was it. But this defense has put the brakes on people over the last couple of weeks. They're getting better.
Yep.
I think, like Cody said earlier in the show, the coaching staff has ultimately done nothing but pleasantly surprise in a certain sort of way. And really, just the big disappointment so far in the ultimate stain on Joe Brady and the Marty Herney and the staff together was the Teddy Bridgewater bridge. But even that was exactly probably what we thought it was going to be. Maybe a little worse than they thought it was going to be. 252-228-5098. Just a couple more calls and let's get out of here.
Hey, what's up? This is Kevin from Charleston. You know, I know all of us are worried about the quarterback and, like, what comes to the draft and shit, but I really looked at the other teams ahead of us, and there's very few of them actually need a quarterback or will. You know, I think the Falcons are like 50-50. But I think we can get at least one of them. And, you know, I kind of feel bad for Teddy Bridgewater a little bit, if I'm being honest, because I too know what it's like to suck at my job. I suck. I see the faces of my coworkers. Oh, shit. This fucking guy. But then I started thinking, I don't feel bad. Because fuck him, he makes $60 million over 3 years.
Exactly.
He makes $16.
I know.
And he has a giant dick. Have an average dick. The hooks to the left, like a Joey Sly field goal. I don't know what the fuck to say. I just wanted to call. Fuck it.
Oh, this call is so good.
That was the best call of the night.
Oh, my gosh. That call was the best.
I just wanted to call.
Can we play it one more time? That was really good, and it wasn't long either. That was pretty fucking.
Oh, my gosh. It's wonderful. All right, next call.
What's going on, C3 Nation? It's your boy Jay Anson hitting y'all up. Man, hope y'all doing good. One thing is really hard to get is some Panther fans don't understand why, you know, some Panther fans want the team to lose. It's like we already in a losing situation. We don't have, you know, close to a winning record. So why even go and try to win out these games? You might as well, you know, lose, try to get in a position to get a better chance in getting a better player, which means a better quarterback. We already see how this quarterback, you know, Teddy Bridgewater, and I didn't mean to pile on Teddy, but, you know, he's not the quarterback that we need. And we already losing these games, so we might as well, you know, go ahead and get a quarterback and try to build a roster and stuff like that. You know, get a franchise quarterback and build a roster. Obviously, you know, this guy ain't doing it or nothing like that. But it's crazy that some Panther fans are like, yes, we got the number 9. Yes, we winning, you know, and getting on other Panther fans talking about, yeah, I want a losing culture. Nobody wants a losing culture, but you know, since we are losing, let's get into a better place in a better position to get a franchise quarterback and get out of that losing situation. So, you know, just like when the Panthers, you know, got the number 1 pick, they got Cam Newton. Guess what? They built from that. They end up getting Luke Kuechly next year. We wasn't in the lottery like that, you know, since. So you want to start over and build something new. You can't build nothing with Teddy Bridgewater as your franchise quarterback. So you might as well be in a position to get a franchise quarterback. Who knows if Trey Lance will fall to us? Because it's being at the 9th position, some team might jump up over the Panthers and get Trey Lance like no other. So I think some of those Panther fans who want Teddy to stay are being real ridiculous and not seeing the other side of things. You know, I'll let y'all.
All right, I get it, man. Last call.
Appreciate it.
It's your boy Brandon Herbert. I just want to say fuck C3 and fuck you, Cody. I'm glad we won. We're going to be able to draft that tight
Oh
end
my
Kyle
God.
Pitts now. Fuck you,
Oh
Cody.
my
Fuck
God.
The future's fucking bright.
Not
I
as
fucking
good
hate
as
everybody
the
here. Once they
first
get my
Brandon
podcast,
Herbert.
everybody's going to leave this shit-ass podcast and join mine. All right, guys?
Dude, I'm still dead over that. Like, homeboy said, Infinite Gamer said, I'm dead. This guy has me dead. That call.
That was a fantastic.
Yeah.
My mom in the podcast listening to that. Close your eyes like Joey.
Yeah. Although this is just,
But you could still feel it prodding through his pants.
What?
I tried to close my eyes. My man said it hooks left like a Joey slide field goal. Woo! How about that? All right. So funny. All right. So the Panthers play the Saints. Oh, stadium capacity adjusted to less than 1,500 people. So that's it. Like, I mean, like none of us. And
why have any?
Is that including the players and coaching staff and everybody there?
Why have any at all? If you're going to limit the amount, how are you any safer than just not making it so that way people
Because
can't?
you're going to make that money off those 1,500 tickets,
you're
dude.
not
So
gonna
of
make
course it's
no
worth it.
money
Of
off
course
of
it's
that.
worth
They
it.
should. They're losing so much. The world. Wait until next year when the tax receipts come in and the reduced spending comes in. Like, think about this: is that all of this is going to catch up? You cannot tell me the NFL made just as much money. I'm sorry,
no way.
it's impossible. It's impossible that it that
TV.
They couldn't have made more money, right? They made the same money they would have made on TV, right? I don't think ABC was like, "Oh God, we're gonna pay you more."
Yeah, well, the players and the coaches, owners side made just as much money because they get their cut. I think the NFL as a corporation was the one who took the hit. Yeah. You know, the owners and everybody's not taking a hit on that.
Well, they are because they're not selling the hot dogs, they're not selling the beers, they're not selling.
That's true. I didn't think about that. I guess that is their profit. You're right.
They're losing a ton of money.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. The Hornets are playing games right now that are not on TV, and no one's at.
Wow.
Yeah,
you can't tell me that is not going to have an effect.
And by the way, now, as a matter of fact, that might be my ice up pick. But now the super strain of COVID has hit Colorado. So whatever, dude. Round 2 is right around the corner.
COVID 27. Here it comes. All right. Look, I'm ready to go. I think we should. I mean, at the end of the day, really, what are we going to say about this Saints? Okay. Let me ask. I do have a question about the Saints for you. Are they legit? Can they win the Super Bowl?
No,
I don't think so. Not with Drew Brees at the helm.
Yeah.
No.
What if you put in the Stormin' Mormon? Would they be better, Cody?
No.
No, I don't think that they're going to beat the I don't think they would beat the Packers.
What happened to your boy?
Oh, God. Y'all try to push me into all this fucking crazy shit, man. Listen, I don't think that the Saints beat the Packers. I don't think, even if they made it to the Super Bowl, I don't see them beating Kansas City or Buffalo.
Bills, yeah,
or Buffalo. By the way, Buffalo right now, that's my Super Bowl pick.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, man. I think I could agree with that. Jared Allen won my fantasy league.
Not only is that who I think will win, but I genuinely believe that the Buffalo Bills are the best team in football, and it doesn't feel weird to pull for them.
I can agree with that. Yeah,
I made this point on Twitter. The Buffalo Bills did everything for Josh Allen that we should have done for Cam Newton. Mm-hmm. They put a legitimate offensive line around him. They put an incredible offensive play caller as his offensive coordinator. And this year, they gave him a legitimate number 1 wide receiver. Okay, what you are looking at with the Buffalo Bills would have been the best case scenario for what Carolina could have built when they had the opportunity to do it, but didn't. And it's not surprising that Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane had their parts here in Carolina and then had their chance to do it over in Buffalo and did it better the second time around.
Yeah.
I'm pulling for the Bills, man.
Yeah.
Straight up.
All right. All right, it's the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. The number's 252-228-1598. We got one last post-game show coming up after the Saints game. We're here every Tuesday night, live, 9 p.m. Haven't missed a week. We've moved a day once or twice in the last 8 years. That's right. I'd be traveling all across the country, world at times and still doing the podcast. So I appreciate your support, and I do it just because tonight that I didn't even want to do this tonight. Like I was like, and guess what? I had a ton of fun hanging out and talking to my homeboys. The end of the show, we finish it up with the Ice Up picks. This is our homage to Steve Smith, and this is when we tell people in the world, everybody's fair game, by the way, and it goes back to when Steve Smith told a kid, Talib Kweli, which is the rapper I know, guys, is whatever his name, Akib Talib, whatever his,
yeah.
When he told him to ice up, and this is our homage to him, where we try to, anybody's fair game. You tell anybody to ice up, toughen up to get it together. Who wants to go first tonight? And Greg, I did get your video.
Cool. Well, you got mine. You can do it whenever you want to, man.
I'll go first just because mine's fast.
Ease them in. Yeah, ease them in.
Yeah, so listen, I'm dumb, and maybe I'm just talking a whole lot of shit that I don't know about, which is what I probably normally do. But apparently, like I just mentioned, there is now this, if you've been paying attention, there's like this much quicker, faster spreading COVID that's been going around in the UK. And a lot of people have been talking about it. And then today, for the first time, it was confirmed that someone in Colorado has it. Now, get this. The person who has it is a young 20-year-old male who never travels, has not traveled outside of the country, hasn't done any kind of substantial traveling. Yet he has the COVID from the UK. How? Like, if he's the only one that has it, then that must mean someone from the UK came to Colorado, infected him, and then affected a whole bunch of other people. Like, I don't know. People get mad at you for asking questions,
or that it just mutated.
Yeah, but it's like people like are so quick to want to call you a conspiracy theorist or this or that. No, man, just ask questions. Like, if something doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. It's allowed to not make sense, even if the supposed trusted news sources are telling you something. It's okay for you to question the narrative that you hear. And to me, I don't know, man. A lot of it is just...
It's also okay to believe it if you study it and you feel like it's right. But like you said, don't just blindly follow it. I agree with that, dude.
100%. So, I don't know, to people who just believe everything that they hear, hook, line, and sinker. Yeah, to the sheep, man. Ice up, son.
All right, Greg, you want to go next? Should
I
we just
can
play the video straight up, or do you want to introduce it?
I'll introduce it a little bit just because I want to give a warning. I just saw a video today, and it's of two guys who are having a confrontation in a gas station. I'm sure some of y'all probably already seen this. There's some language in it that I don't like, and I normally wouldn't promote this kind of a video except for the way it ends. And I think the guy who tweeted out that I saw was poetry, and it is. It's great. I love the way it ends, the way it should. But just beware, there's some language in it that I'm not really a fan of putting out. So.
Yeah, is that we don't support this type of behavior again, and that's what it is. You know what is? How about this? You know what I do support is that when you behave a certain way, it gets
You deserve to get fucked up.
You get a consequence. There's a consequence.
Yeah.
So here we go. Here it is.
Shit,
Brace your
sometimes
ears,
it's-
especially if you don't like the N-word.
I'm gonna say nigga all day, every day. Are you kidding me? Where you from, nigga? Where you from?
This
Where
is
you
white
from?
guy saying
Where the
that,
fuck
by
you
the
from, nigga? You from here? Get the fuck out of here, you a clown, nigga. Oh God, you a clown, nigga. You from here? You a clown. What, you gonna smack me with that? Smack me!
I like how this is my favorite part. Homeboy drops it.
Come on,
This is funny.
Like, it was the best part when dude's talking trash about him dropping it. That's what distracts him enough to get knocked out. And hey, man, you know, I'm nice enough the dude who got knocked out. Just the white guy who got knocked out because you're the kind of person that's wrong with this world. You know, I don't know anything about what was going on in the beginning of the conversation or how it all started, but it's just never should get to that point. It's just ridiculous, and I can't stand it. And that guy got what he deserved. I feel like he deserved a little worse than that. But he at least got something for what he did.
And was it as bad as it looked, or was that just and CK would know this. Is CK still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Is that what you call a Bang energy drink right there? Hey.
Yeah, I would say definitely a Bang energy drink for sure. Definitely, I didn't realize that it actually had the sound effect come along with it.
They hit the Hootie and the Blowfish on that mug, and so to dickheads in the gas station, ice up and not ice up. Yeah, to if you slap somebody in the face with a Bang energy drink, also very cool. Oh, sorry, Mom. My mom's still here. All right, CK, what you got? No, hang on, Mom. You can hear my ice up pick. It's about my situation with my thumb. So, CK, you got one for us?
Nah, you guys go ahead.
What?
I might come up with one.
All right. So my ice up pick has to do. So I broke my thumb December 10th, and I walloped it good, broke it good. It was a Friday. So I go on a Friday. It was a Thursday that I broke it. Friday, it was like after hours. So like, what are they really gonna do tonight? So we wait till tomorrow, you know, because you don't want to go to the emergency room and spend all the money. Man, like, so go get this X-ray, and on a Friday, because of COVID, they can't. Like, they're like, we'll call you with the results. Like, you just leave and we'll look at it and tell you what happened. So they call me back up and it's fractured. Like, I mean, fractured. Like, well, they don't even tell me that. They just say it's broke. You need to go to SportsMed you need to go to SportsMed. This is funny. This is part, and this isn't even the ice up pick, but it's a funny part. So this is on Friday. They call me up and the SportsMed people are like, we'd like to schedule an appointment with you. I mean, I'm like, yeah. I'm like, well, let's do this. And they were like, the earliest we got is January 4th. I was like, yo. I wasn't even worried about my thumb, like, being that jacked up. At this point, I screwed up with my health insurance. I swear to God, I missed the open enrollment with my insurance. So I have very good insurance right now. But at the first of the year, it goes from the 80-20 program to the 70-30. Not a giant jump off, but like anything that it does stink. Like just because I missed this 2-week window of signing up on the internet, you know, something stupid. So I was like, well, if we could squeeze this in before the 1st, that would be really a great thing for me. Right. So I go, and they're like, okay, well, she was like, I'll call this. And she was like, you can come in Monday. So it goes from January 4th to like January 21st, which is awesome. But the mugs are like, your thumb is jacked up. It is broke as a mug. Like, you shouldn't have waited to January 4th. Like, if I would have waited in the first place, it would have been terrible. So, anyway, he said, come back in 2 weeks, and we'll see how it looks. And I come back, I wear this big splint, and it was a clean break all the way across, like a straight fracture. It was, like, beautiful. Like in a good way, right? But a major break. And he goes, so I go back yesterday. again, by the way, I would have never been seen yet if I would have stuck to their timeline. I'm already on my second visit by this point. And he goes, "Oh, it's moved. You got to go see a surgeon." Like, I mean, like it's worse. You know, it's not getting better. It's getting worse. So I'm like, all right. He said, because of the bone in your hand, and I live in Greenville, North Carolina. We have a teaching hospital, right? We have a very nice hospital. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you would think, but Raleigh, Durham is not that far away. He goes, look, there's some good doctors around here, but the people I trust with this kind of thing are in Raleigh. I was like, all right, well, like, whatever you think is best, homie. Like, I mean, it's an hour drive for me. It's not that big of a deal. Like, I'll go. So I go to Raleigh today. They get me an appointment. By the way, this is my third appointment before January 4th, which I would have, and the doctor, when I saw him today, was like, oh, it's been 3 weeks. Like, what's taking so long? Like, he was like, why haven't you been here earlier? So I go to this supposed specialist. This is where the ice up pick comes in. I go to these, like, to the sophisticated Raleigh doctors. And I go in there and we spend, you know, it's fine. It's nothing wrong. Sit down. My wife's in there with me. And the doctor comes in. The surgeon comes in. And he's like, your thumb looks great, homie. It's awesome. Like, this is the best. They did such a good job. He misread the x-rays. Like, he looked at my first x-ray and thought it was my second instead of the second one. And I was like, dude, bro, I didn't come here because they did a good job. I came here because my shit's fucked up more. And he was like, oh, they must have gotten the dates wrong. I was like, dude, they didn't get the dates wrong. The computer, the computer stamps the time stamp on it, bro. They didn't have a choice. So I'm like, all right. I mean, he was doing a lot. So no big deal. You know what I mean? Like, you can give some people some slack. So I'm like, all right. And he's like, oh, as soon as I said that, he goes, well, then you're going to need surgery. He goes, like, his mind was like, oh, I had it backwards. I'm like, all right, no big deal. This is where the super ice up pick comes in. So I'm all right. Sophisticated doctor has already read the x-rays in a hurry. So you can hear him outside the door, like, dictating to everything. He's like, it's a angular fracture that's going to have to be repaired. He's talking this. And then he tells the nurse, he goes, go back in there and wrap the splint up. Like the one I already have. Like, all it is an ace bandage. Look. It's just an ace bandage around a hard splint. So I swear to God, this is what happened. This is where it gets fucking crazy. So this nurse comes in, and she grabs my splint, she looks at it, and she puts it on. And first of all, she wraps it completely backwards, like from the bottom up. I'm like, you know, my thumb's the problem, not my elbow. But, okay. So maybe you know what you're doing. She gets halfway, she starts wrapping it, and she goes, I don't know how this works. And and puts the ace bandage down, and then she goes, I'm going to use ours, and then pulls another ace. So the difference is this ace bandage has Velcro on the edge, and the one that I already had on didn't. But the nurse said, her exact words was, I don't know how this works, and then dropped the ace bandage. I was like, what do you mean you don't know how the ace bandage works, bro? It's like, what if you got in a different car? What if you drove a Ford and somebody was like, I need you to drive me to the store. I've been drinking too much. And they got in a Toyota and they were like, I don't know how this Toyota works. Right. Like, I was just like, oh my God. So she then wrapped it terribly. My wife rewrapped it, and now I have to have surgery. I'm getting surgery on Thursday. And I swear, if this one lady walks in the OR, I'm running. She looked at that Band-Aid. She said, I don't know how this Band-Aid works. I was like, you're a nurse. It's an ace bandage. You just wrap it around. You wrap it around, and you tuck it. You tape it. She was like, I don't know how this works. I was like, ice up. I don't trust you no more.
That's crazy. Man.
That's all I got.
Hey, You know that the podcast has gone too long when my cat is like, "Hey, man,
All right, we're out of here.
Look, see him?
So Thursday surgery for me, guys. It's gonna be crazy. Happy New Year.
Good luck, man.
Yeah, it's not gonna be that big of a deal.
I've heard a lot of people say recently that they like what anesthesia does to them. Like, there are people that are like,
what's that? I don't know what that. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. Oh, it's just a level of fuck it that you're not ready for, though. But listen, let me tell you, though, as someone who has had many procedures in their lifetime, that I've had them put too much anesthesia, so much so that I still smelled of it like 4 days after my procedure. It is fucking terrible, bro. That's a promise. It smells so bad.
All right. C3 Panthers podcast. My name's Tony Dunn. The number's 252-228-5098. Lucid Proximity said, I used to live off of Fire Tower Road, G Vegas. What's up? Yeah, man. I live like off of Charles, which connects to Fire Tower. Been here all my life. Cody Lashney, where can they follow your work?
Follow me on Twitter at Cody Lack, CODYLAC. We have a brand new mock draft coming out tomorrow on drafttech.com with full comments for the first round pick for the Carolina Panthers, written by yours truly. Check it out, drafttech.com tomorrow.
I don't know how mock drafts work, but I mean, if they're like ace bandages,
I don't know how this works.
I don't know how this works, but I guess it's fake. Greg, where you at?
You can find me at the BatDaddy52 on Twitter. Check me out there if you just want to hit me up personally, and then check me out on the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network. You can find all the other shows I do. We got a whole bunch of shows. 7 days a week we're dropping something, so check us out.
CK?
You can find me on Facebook.gg or Facebook Gaming, streaming Code Dizzle Allen most nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't be surprised if you see me play some Warzone.
All right. You guys will be here after the game on Sunday. Thank God it's the last one. And, well, I mean, that's mean, but, we're getting, and we're here every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. until we quit. And until then, smash the thumbs up button.
Keep pounding.
Or I'll have to surgically repair you. We'll talk to you on Sunday and Tuesday. Until then, keep pounding.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. You can turn $10 into $250. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/fan and use code FAN. That's code FAN at prizepicks.com/fan.
Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.